In the end, my obedient disciple was forced to comply. Finally, I took the creation pill. On the other side, third senior brother was also impressed by my transformation. Even a first-grade pill doesn't sway me. And at this moment, two disciples were. I won't indulge her. I directly stuffed the pill into her mouth. Swallow the pill quickly. Whenever you swallow it, I will stop then. I pinched Xinger's small cherry-like mouth. When your master tells you to eat, you eat. Why are you being so stubborn? Xiao Ruoqing threw a tantrum. She stubbornly refused to take the elixir. Have him take the creation pill. But I accidentally pressed him down. The situation became quite awkward. I, as your master, didn't mean to do it. Master, this isn't appropriate. Cultivating will redeem you. I never expected that the usually aloof 9th junior sister would sneak into my room in the middle of the night. And I was mistaken for a pervert with quirks. I originally planned to call. Stop it, my dear disciple. Senior brother immediately understood. There's still something at Dansha Peak. I won't disturb you anymore, brother. Xiao Ruoqing got up, placed the pill among the flowers, and left. I hurriedly called him to stop. Nephew thanks third uncle master for refining the elixir. Master, you've done far too much for your disciple. This elixir is too great an honor for me to accept. I quickly gave senior brother a look. Why is this girl getting shy now? Instead, I wanted my obedient disciple to be more careful and absorb it properly. That way, it would be worthy of this elixir. This is an elixir that can even change fate when taken by our master. And so, it was given to me. So I'm this important in master's heart. Go and wash up now. Junior brother, you may have misunderstood what I meant. This kind of elixir can have a significant effect even on those at the river realm. It can also enhance the upper limits of cultivation, innate talent, and physique, among other things. But I completely ignored third senior brother. But third senior brother just said that this pill is extremely precious. He told me to keep it safe, to take it when the right opportunity arises. Yet I casually gave it to my precious disciple. Did you hear what your third martial uncle just said? My good disciple would immediately make the whole body feel clear. No wonder it's a grade 1 pill capable of causing such turmoil. Xiao Ruoqing secretly rejoiced in her heart. If master were to absorb this creation pill, I believe you would become even stronger. Senior brother, may I ask the name of the ancestor who studied this pill? The third elder said proudly. It turns out it was Master Wei at the end. My apologies. I didn't expect that just a light sniff of this pill. I'll take this opportunity to break through to the first rank. The alchemist made a decision that goes against our ancestors. This is a recipe that the Mo family hasn't passed down for 1,000 years. From this day on, it is selflessly offered to the sect. This is the first-rank Great Restoration Pill. Junior brother, I've successfully refined a grade 1 creation pill. I've become a grade 1 alchemist. Thanks to your harmonious Tao elixir. These few red ones are the first-rank creation pills. One of them alone can grant the form of the earth. It must be that third senior brother has successfully refined the elixir. It seems that Wulan will recover soon. Xiao Ruoqing gazed at my back, deep in thought. Has master already become so close with 9th martial uncle? At this moment, the third elder flew towards me like Superman. Good disciple, don't make a fuss. We don't even have Mount Fuji here. Besides, how could it just erupt out of nowhere? Before he could finish speaking, I saw that the peak of Dansha above us looked like it really exploded. I told him. The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. At this moment, Xiao Ruoqing pointed behind her and shouted, Master, the volcano is about to erupt. The faster my disciple levels up, the more feedback I receive. I previously promised junior sister 9 that I would plant peach trees for him without being seen. However, my obedient disciple questioned me, Master, isn't it a bit late to plant trees now? It resounded in every corner of the invisible sect. As my obedient disciple from the north of Su, everything from genius treasures to miraculous pills is available. Of course, it's not that I'm generous, it's that I have a disciple feedback system that rewards me exponentially. Are you willing to attend this opening ceremony with me, elder? They were once the geniuses of the sect. They want to regain everyone's respect. They don't want to give up this rare opportunity. Willing for a lifetime. For a moment, it was the gifted Hua Xiaopao, whose golden core was destroyed to save his companions, and Yi Xiaoyu, who became disfigured while protecting the emperor. Which of them wasn't once a prodigy of the sect? A brilliant presence. Perhaps this 1,000-sword Guanyin was destined to be their stage. I walked up to these female disciples. In this crowd, I thought it was just a farce like a consort selection, but who knew Xiao Beibei would achieve this much? Xiao Ruoqing was also surprised. She didn't expect her master to say such a thing. Many disciples knelt down one after another, or even a personal disciple. Sword sect accepts everyone. Sword sect disciples are treated equally, and senior sister and Xiao Ruoqing happen to be. Talent, status, and strength are the only reasons for this event, but here, the stepping stones of the hall are not higher than the lowest cornerstone. Here, whether it's an outer disciple or an inner disciple, she couldn't speak, and his level isn't high. He doesn't have much talent either. However, I pulled him up. We walked up to the stage. The disciple answering questions is also a sword sect disciple. So, sword girl, are you willing to join me at the opening ceremony? The sword girl told me in sign language that she wasn't qualified to go, and every day, she not only practices her skills but also washes her sword in the sword washing pool. Elder, can the sword maiden be selected? I sized up the sword girl in front of me, then slowly took her hand. He can't speak. I hope the elder can understand. Then he started to recommend her. The sword maiden is really great. She is also very beautiful. Seeing the two about to leave, I timely stopped them. Why are you leaving? To pay respects to Elder Wu. This is the swordswoman. But do you mixed disciples even qualify to participate? It was as if the big female disciple wanted to argue with him. The mute swordswoman next to him blocked his way. Swordswoman, why don't you give it a try? You can definitely do it. He is exactly the talent I need. There are suddenly over a dozen great candidates. But just then, the audience started to argue. Our proper disciples have to compete. We will now officially begin. This enchanting girl with long legs has been selected. This broad-minded, simple and loyal disciple is also quite impressive. And this one can unlock hundreds of dance poses. I want to bear children for you. Everyone, please raise a toast. The purpose of gathering the disciples of the sword sect here today is to select 100 female disciples to participate in the opening ceremony of the recruitment in the Holy Land together with this elder. The selection process will be fair, just, and open. No, it's the 1,000 Sword Guanyin selection competition. All the female disciples in the sect are crazy for it. Elder, don't be so rigid about gender. Us boys can participate too. Elder Su, choose me. Of course, I meant that sister's stunning opening performance gave me endless inspiration. It was a dance that no one had ever heard of before. It's called Thousand Swords Avalokiteshvara. It enlightened the family. I didn't expect the immortal realm to have a thousand-handed Guanyin. Which opening ceremony of the Jianzong wasn't shocking? Sister, that doesn't seem to be shocking. It seems more like provocation. Sister was about to step in and teach a lesson, but I stopped her. Those female disciples' faces were turning as red as a monkey's butt. So restless. Senior sister, you might not know, but one move from junior brother can shock 21 weeks. Senior sister looked unimpressed. It's just 21 weeks of shock, leaving the junior sister, who is lost in love. This medicine indeed has honey added. It was so sweet when we got outside. I quickly gave senior sister a massage to help her calm down, while asking the junior sister how she was doing. This is the difference. Then she dragged me away by my ear. If I don't explain it to her later, let's see how the teaching department punishes me. I just told you that the second elder's 800th birthday is coming up, and you're already causing trouble. Those who know think it's the sword sect, and those who don't would think it's a selection for brides. The senior sister tugged at my ear. Senior brother, actually, I've always wanted to say something to you. Just when junior sister interrupted my heartfelt confession, senior sister suddenly appeared and interrupted this romantic moment. Sube, what kind of nonsense are you up to again? Junior sister, you should be more reserved. The junior sister reluctantly let go. Senior brother really doesn't understand romance, but this time, senior brother should have seen my strength. Right? Junior sister, you are truly unfathomable. This way, it will be sweeter. But ninth junior sister was staring straight at my fingers. Her mind was constantly imagining things. Then she surprisingly took my finger into her mouth. I quickly urged my junior sister to let go. Then I went to give junior sister her medicine. Senior brother, this medicine is so bitter. Good medicine tastes bitter but cures the illness. You have to finish it to recover quickly. Junior sister, open your mouth. I added honey for you, so it has a sweet aftertaste. When she saw it, she went straight after Gone with the Wind. Sube, you little brat. What kind of nonsense are you up to now? Senior sister queen actually made me kneel and lick her feet, but I managed to take her down with a single black stocking, and asked what exactly had happened. She heard that Elder Wu was about to make his selection. Everyone gets a share, all the female disciples. Senior sister didn't have time to think much. She threw down the soup dumpling in her hand, but in the next second, they quickly ran outside, still shouting Elder Su's name non-stop. I'm here, I will definitely be chosen. The scene was like the rush during Chinese New Year. Senior sister hurriedly grabbed a girl. I never expected my senior sister to treat me so well. A few days later, my senior sister tried his favorite soup dumplings at the foot of East Gate Mountain. When everyone saw the attire she was wearing, those of a female disciple from the Subei clan, everyone was going crazy over it. The pill helps replenish vitality and blood. Keep it with you, just in case. When I opened the pill my senior sister gave me, it turned out to be a blood refinement pill she prepared to restore her vitality after breaking through the tribulation. It's more than just a little vitality restoration. Junior brother specially tailored them for senior sister, and I successfully won over senior sister, avoiding any physical pain. Senior sister knew I would be injured from fighting the great demon. She even gave me a pill before she left. You immediately got upset. Are you talking about the same pants your disciple, junior sister, and that sworn sister of yours have? I quickly pulled out stockings to introduce them to you. The length of these pants fits perfectly, and they have a unique emblem. Are you asking me to kneel down and lick his feet? Actually, I've already planned it. I wanted to give you a unique pair of pants, but I'd been too busy with work. When you heard I was giving you pants, don't force me to beg you on my knees. As your senior sister, of course I can support you. But, little baby, what's the cost? Right now, I'm panicking like crazy inside. In a few days, it will be your second senior sister's 800th birthday. All sects from the 21 states, along with the royal family, will come to celebrate the founding of the sect and her birthday. Genzone must not become a laughingstock. Senior sister's opening ceremony needs support. I came down the mountain diligently. I didn't expect my senior sister to think of me like this. Immediately after, my senior sister kicked me. I still don't know. It's better if you stop scheming. What do you mean again? I, Sube, am a man of honor. I've upheld virtue and integrity all my life. For 500 years, I've kept myself pure, daring to face fire and water for the sword sect. Currently, the sect is not short on funds. Junior brother only needs to make a slight move to bring great glory to the sect. It's just that I need senior sister's approval for this idea. Senior sister is quite disdainful. She thought I was going to harm the female disciples of the sword sect again. After just a few days at the Red Pavilion, a scarf was made. All right. There's just over half a month left until the opening ceremony of the Holy Land. Have you thought of a plan? I'll tell my senior sister. Before I could even start showering her with compliments, she kicked me flying. Senior sister looked at me with disdain. You still have the nerve to come back? Heartless thing. It only took a few days for the dead fish to be lured away. The sword sect hasn't achieved anything in 500 years. Besides, I also reported the secret selection of the Sube family to the sect. Senior sister looked at me with a gentle expression. Who's prettier, senior sister or your sworn sister? Isn't it obvious? Of course, senior sister is prettier. With your grand presence, how could I not notice you? Senior sister must have some strange hobbies. I'm not the kind of person who is swayed by beauty. I immediately took out my family's name to avoid a painful beating. Senior sister suddenly appeared by the bedside. Senior sister, when did you get here? Senior sister has been here for a while, but it seems junior brother no longer notices senior sister. You're joking, senior sister. As the most exceptional master, how could I bear to scold my obedient disciple? Ah, a girl's thoughts are truly hard to figure out. I wonder if my good disciple will become like ninth junior sister, someone out of reach. And just at this moment, Xiao Ruoqin knelt on the ground, crying bitterly, blaming herself for Qing'er's mistake. She shouldn't always put her master in a difficult position. From now on, Qing'er will never dare to act recklessly again. I saw the poster that had fallen on the ground. I immediately picked it up and admired it. Although this remark is somewhat crude, and its meaning is muddied by puns, it still cannot mask the graceful and suave demeanor. I looked at him with deep affection. You came back, so let me take you to eat candied hawthorn, okay? Xiao Ruoqin instantly couldn't hold back. He actually treats me like a 3-year-old. Master is really different from his past life, venting her jealousy. But then, she suddenly heard me shouting, he gave up on the sisters? Is this still the same demon lord? I feel a bit better inside. Disciple, I didn't know you were here. Damn demon lord. He actually ruined the 2 sisters. When she saw the poster she picked up, she was instantly filled with rage. She stomped on the poster furiously. Junior sister Nine's face turned red. Inside, she was overjoyed. It was just because I called him Wulan. Meanwhile, Xiao Ruoqin was complaining under the tree. After all, she's my good disciple. I still have to coax her. So I entrusted junior sister Wulan to senior sister 8. Senior sister 8 told me to rest assured and go. I'll leave her to him. What kind of plot is this? I hurriedly stopped Xiao Ruoqin from leaving. The twin sisters beside me were gleefully watching how I would explain. But my obedient disciple wasn't having it. She turned away angrily and left. But right at that moment, Xiao Ruoqin returned from Dansha Peak. As he walked in, he saw this awkward scene. What kind of blood feud is this? Junior sister, don't move. There's something dirty on your nose. Just as expected. This really made ninth junior sister furious. She immediately wanted to jump out of bed. And then I realized, could it be that junior sister 9 is jealous? Looks like I need to confirm that. So I lightly brushed junior sister 8's nose with my finger. Junior sister 8 explained with a smile, it was that night in the backyard. Didn't you come too? Before you arrived, senior brother taught me a sword technique. So today, since he's back, I wanted to spar with him. Is there a hidden injury? So I checked the pulse again, but I didn't find anything unusual. At this moment, junior sister 9 asked Wang, what did I and junior sister 8 do? Xiao Ruoqin had just helped master regain his dignity. Unexpectedly, I walked into such an explosive scene when I got back to the room. In order to stop her sister from going on a date with me, the 9th junior sister actually pretended to be sick. The 8th junior sister hurriedly went to check on her. They'll be beyond saving. Does it really matter who killed the great demon? Master and the 9th senior senior brother need to take care of Ruwaching, so they left first. Please handle the pill refining. I have to admit, this slap in the face feels really satisfying. After the third elder took the river monster's core and inspected it, he couldn't believe it was truly the river monster's core. Did Subei really get this? Both ninth uncle and master were severely injured. Without the blood cry restoration pill, Ruwaching was sent by the master to deliver the river demon pill. Please, Uncle San, refine the pill to save his life. When Xiao Ruwaching saw her master being trampled underfoot, she was very displeased. Meanwhile, Elder San remained convinced about the situation. Whether it's real or not, third uncle will know at a glance. Think before you speak. Otherwise, you will end up like Elder Su, completely unaware of your own limitations. But just then, Xiao Ruwaching arrived with the river demon pill. Uncle Shi's injuries are severe, only knows how to boast. How can he convince anyone? Besides, he hasn't made any progress in cultivation for 100 years. Does he still have the nerve to be a sword sect elder? Then he threw the seal on the ground and stomped on it wildly. It's simply absurd. It was supposed to be Subei's commendation ceremony, but now the third elder has turned it into a criticism meeting. They say strength reigns supreme in the world of cultivation, but someone like him, so irresponsible, especially this Subei, as an elder of the sword sect. He's lazy, playing around with cats and dogs, and now he's claiming he slayed the river demon. The truth is strong and quite defiant. Everyone is just bragging. Why single him out and make a big deal out of it? Recently, there's been a wave of idol worship. Unintentionally cultivating, they can be expelled from the sect. At this time, the female disciples nearby are discussing, is there anything Elder Su can't do? What's real can't be fake. What's fake can't be real. The broken river scares the courage of the river. The river demon. Is it from your family? Elder Wang is spreading rumors. According to the sect's rules, stands firm between heaven and earth, with a single command to cut the river. The great river demon was scared out of its wits. The third elder could no longer bear to listen. Going up is just a big hole that transforms artifacts. At the bottom of Regretless Cliff, Yu Xuanji was subdued. The river demon before Zhang Jianxin. I have to say, this kid's writing skills are impressive. Elder Su, wielding the Qingping sword. He saw that brat Jinjianti boasting about my glorious deeds. Elder Su stepped forward, while Wuhua fled like a wolf. The sword of Qingpin shook the heavens. Mo Chang's single strike moved ghosts and gods to tears. I remember hearing news of a great demon being slain. The third elder was quite excited. He quickly asked who told the disciple that. It was just mentioned outside by a fellow disciple who returned from his travels. When the third elder opened the window, then why don't we just use the river monster's core? That's the river monster's core. It's not Tongdo. You make it sound so easy. The disciple pointed outside the window. Transformation stage demon pill. But it's a gamble. The success rate of refining the void demon pill is not comparable to a river path demon pill. Only then can one be almost certain, the naive disciple said. He didn't expect that even the demon elixir at the peak of the transformation stage wouldn't work. The disciple beside him asked what kind of elixir it was. Even the peak demon pill of the transformation stage can't block it. So it turns out the third elder encountered a first-grade creation pill, aiming to become a first-grade alchemist, so he doesn't default on it. On the other side, Elder Mo Xingjian from the alchemy room looked very gloomy. This was already his 999th failure. I had to maintain my composure. Then I instructed Xiao Ruwaching to take the demon core from the river to the third elder. Just tell him that junior sister Nine's injuries are urgent. As your master, I'm asking him to make a medicine to heal her. And be sure to let the passing disciples know that this is the elixir sent by the master. Even the great demon in the river was gone. That sharp tongue isn't afraid of the wind cutting it. I was visibly upset. I was dying to go over and give those two disciples a good beating. But as a sword sect elder, afterwards, he even stomped on the poster to vent his frustration. However, it all started just a moment ago. Subei and his disciple Xiao Ruoqin returned to the sword sect. Meanwhile, two disciples outside the sect were chatting and laughing. Elder Gu struck with his sword. Good disciple, what do you need from your master? It's nothing. I just wanted to call out to you, master. I didn't expect the third elder to publicly criticize me, pointing at my poster in front of all the disciples. Maybe the fairy wants to go to the capital for some snacks before returning to the Holy Land. Alright, we should head back to the sword sect. Master Gio is still waiting for the elixir to detoxify. Xiao Ruoqin looked at my back with deep affection. Then she suddenly called out to me, Master, Master, this fairy is truly a wonderful person. The Holy Emperor Saintus would obviously not be a bad person, but what Xiao Ruoqin doesn't understand is, isn't the southern fairy heading towards the capital? Is the Holy Land also in the capital? Moreover, this elixir can heal your junior sister's injuries. Hearing this, I quickly accepted this generous gift. Then the southern fairy flew away on her sword. After all, if it weren't for Fairy Nan, I might have really fallen to the tiger demon today. But Fairy Nan said it was no big deal. She owed a favor to the sword sect. This counts as paying it back. You are a good master, and you have a good disciple. I will give you this walnut demon core. It can be considered a witness. I intended to refuse. Only now do I understand. Master is wholeheartedly doing this for Chin. I feel a bit embarrassed. Am I really as great as you say? Seeing this scene, the southern fairy commented, Subei. Xiaoru watching, upon awakening, was seen kneeling on the ground and crying. Master is not an insignificant master. Master is the greatest master in all the world. Filled with shame to receive such kindness from Master, Xiaoruoqin finally got her opportunity, and I also received generous rewards from the disciple feedback system. At this moment, I am feeling quite smug, truly worthy of the child of fortune's fate. This reward is just too amazing. I successfully mastered all the techniques of the King's Sword scripture. My cultivation has also broken through to the peak of the deity transformation stage. Xiaoruoqin, who always wanted to send me to my death, has now been moved by me. Just a moment ago, it is called Mountain and River Severance. Under this profound transformation, Xiaoruoqi not only comprehended the second form of the sword manual, but also broke through to the pinnacle of her cultivation. I, too, successfully triggered the apprentice feedback system with 10,000 times return. The sword sect's sword manual is divided into two parts. What the sword sect now holds is the sword of immortal Tao. The other half is the sovereign sword's rise. Its intent to kill is even stronger. This is the sovereign sword. I want his path to immortality to be smooth in the future. Fairy Nan won't persuade further. This fortune was sought for you by your master. You must feel it deeply. The innate Tao body is indeed considered an extraordinary talent. I quickly praised my good disciple. No need to say more. Fairy Nan, my disciple is exceptionally talented, yet is stuck with an unremarkable master like me. Now, with this opportunity, Nanji specifically emphasized to me, this fortune is truly extraordinary for me. I couldn't be happier inside. This is going to be a big win. To dispel his doubts, Lady Nan, I have long stopped seeking immortality. If you truly wish it, why not bestow this fortune upon my disciple? Nanji looked puzzled. Subei is truly unfathomable. Thank you for the guidance, Fairy. Nanji, who obtained the celestial herb, plans to grant me a blessing before he leaves. I guessed right. My disciple's opportunity has arrived. If you want to find a way to break the curse, you must go to the Southern Wind Ancient Kingdom and find the Miao tribe. They have researched evil energy. The Southern Wind Ancient Kingdom. I will remember that. The fairy took a look and was shocked. She didn't expect junior sister 9 to be wounded by demonic energy. I hurriedly asked Fairy Nan if there was a way to dispel it. Fortunately, there wasn't much demonic energy left in her body. I could only temporarily suppress its spread, hoping I could walk proudly in the cultivation world in the future. I even became a sycophant for that. Strive to successfully win over the big boss in front of me. But just at this moment, junior sister 9's condition worsened. She even treated him as medicine and castrated him. No need to deny it. Might as well pretend for today. And I was still so pleased with myself, thinking I had latched onto the sacred emperor's thigh. Actually, Fairy, there's no need to hide your identity. There are only a handful of people who can undergo tribulation in this world. Most of them are old men. But you, Fairy, carry yourself with such grace and elegance. I'm afraid only that woman from the sacred emperor is laughing. How can a rogue cultivator practice the Tao? A tribulation stage between life and death. Thank you, Fairy. I have no idea why I injured that great demon. Maybe I was just a bit too diligent. May I ask the fairy for her name? A rogue cultivator, Nanji. Take this medicine. Your injuries will heal quickly. Family, post misfortune on the screen. It's right over there. The fairy asked me, but how did you injure that tiger after your transformation? I greet Elder Zongwu, Subei. Thank you, senior, for saving my life. The fairy pressed her long sword against my neck. You all have come for the celestial herb as well. I quickly explained. The fairy has saved our lives. You may take the celestial herb without hesitation. We swiftly took the tiger demon away. Finally, we're saved. It appeared just in time. Could this be the disciple's destiny? But in the next second, I thought I was going to perish here. Fortunately, a fairy saved me in time. The tiger demon realized it was no match. Even though the tiger cub tried to act cute to escape, we fairies don't fall for that. Today, I will act for the heavens. When the fairy makes a move, all demons and monsters must flee. Not only did I eliminate the great demon of the dark path in one move, I also arranged top-tier fortune for my disciple. A giant palm came straight at me, but just at that critical moment, the 5 demons' limbs were suddenly frozen. Then a voice came to my ear, "You wretched beast. Unjust killings. It swatted me away with one slap. To be able to injure the river-purifying great demon, as expected of the sect's greatest treasure. But that move has drained all of my spiritual energy. The 5 demons aren't giving me any chance to catch my breath. Brother Dan is the main character. How could he just die like that? I stabbed right through the tiger demon's soul. In the next second, blood spurted out. But this completely enraged the tiger demon to see if I could deal a heavy blow to the tiger demon. But before I could gather my strength, the tiger demon stomped me under its foot. The tiger demon was still smug, thinking this was just some small fry. And that was it. After the tiger demon put down my junior sister and disciple, it slowly drew its sword. I, Sube, am not one to fear death or cling to life. Even if I die today, I'll take a piece of your flesh. I plan to borrow the power of the Qingyun sword. Does what you said about planting peach blossoms all over Wuzifeng still count when we go back? My ancestors. Why bring up such a flag now? Of course what I said counts. Look, senior brother, you split it with one sword. I helped up Chinger and quickly caught junior sister Jio. Junior sister, that was a major river demon. The weak junior sister in my arms said, senior brother, now we're even. At this critical moment, junior sister Jio resolutely stood in front of me. She ordered me to quickly take Chinger and leave. Before she finished speaking, she was knocked away by Jio Yao with a single palm. It goes all out when it sees humans. Why does my good-for-nothing disciple's opportunity come with hell mode right away? Looking at the oncoming Tiger Claw, the 5th elder of the sword sect. She actually died, turned into flesh and mud under the tiger's claws. Let's just go our separate ways. But obviously, Brother Tiger doesn't want to give any face. He comes up with a big fight right away. The weak Xiaoru watching was directly knocked out. What the hell is this wind tiger? Isn't that awkward? Seeing the enraged tiger demon, I wisely gave in. It's all a misunderstanding. Tiger bro, you're too big to hold a grudge against someone like me. Draw my sword and fight. I originally planned to take advantage of the chaos during the battle with the tiger demon to quietly take the immortal source flower. But unfortunately, I got caught red-handed before I could even slip away. The situation is somewhat awkward. Tiger, would you believe me if I said I was just passing by? As the 5th elder of the sword sect, facing a powerful demon, I must maintain my composure. The tiger demon noticed someone was eyeing the celestial herb after the fight. It felt like an insult to the tiger. Without a word, it unleashed its super-evolved tiger might. Just as I got the celestial herb, I felt a chill down my spine. We all looked up. They underestimated the great demon. It's very likely at the river realm level. While he's still fighting the monster, let's quickly and quietly take the celestial herb. But just our luck, we can take advantage of the chaos. By then, the immortal fate grass will be ours for the taking. After the tiger demon roared in anger, the slaughter began. In no time, the surrounding beasts were cleared out. I've already prepared this magic repelling box. Even if the beast tide surges, it will steer clear of us. Besides, that great demon is at most a peak in the refining ruins. After fighting countless ferocious beasts, the Xianyuan grass suddenly bloomed. When the immortal destiny grass blooms, the area is already surrounded by demon beasts. They must have all come for this immortal destiny grass. But don't worry. He won't do anything to us. Xiao Ruoqing blushed shyly. Does Master really need to push this hard? But the most awkward part was, at that moment, suddenly, the tiger demon roared. And this great demon's strength is at least at the peak of the void refinement stage. Junior sister Jio, quickly sheath your sword. Jianqi doesn't sense it. If he doesn't feel threatened, there must be a spiritual object. This great demon's target is the immortal fate herb. As long as we don't act rashly, there shouldn't be a big problem. The conversation isn't over yet. A fierce gust of wind swept in. I immediately felt that something was wrong. We saw a giant fox demon slowly approaching us. I never expected there to be a powerful demon here. Anyone with a spirit pearl, but at our current level, none of us can make use of it. If it gives me a headache, do I need to pull it back and wait another 800 years to use it? But Xiao Ruoqing noticed that it seemed to be blooming. Could this be the opportunity we've been searching for? But just at that moment, really shameless, but I was suddenly captivated by a flower on the ground. Junior sister explained that it's a celestial fate herb. It blooms once every 20 years. It can obscure heavenly secrets. There must be an opportunity here. But neither of them were focused on that opportunity. Xiao Ruoqing seemed puzzled by Uncle Joe. Is there something on me, Master? You fox spirit. How dare you ask me? How could I possibly see anything? Although Junior sister was quite reluctant, she still used her spiritual energy to dry Chinger's clothes. I pointed at the nearby skeletons. Look how symmetrically those skeletons are placed. She put it on as soon as she got it. Who is she trying to seduce? I quickly covered my eyes. I didn't see anything at all. It's so dark. This is just incredible. But suddenly, Xiao Ruoqing shouted, Master, turn around quickly. This made the 9th junior sister next to me furious. That shameless person took my scarf. With a splash. I didn't didn't expect there to be a pool of water at the bottom of the cliff. Of course, all of this was within my expectations. When I saw Chinger and my junior sister emerge from the water, I was instantly amazed. But often, opportunity means high profit and high risk. Watching my obedient disciple and junior sister lingering at the edge of the cliff, I decided to give them a push. After all, the sooner they jump, the sooner they'll be free. It's near the imperial city of the Eastern Wind Kingdom. It's said to be one of the 8 mysterious locations. No one can say for sure what is beneath. They all say the protagonist must benefit from jumping off the cliff. I didn't expect to really encounter such an opportunity. I've gone to great lengths so that my disciple could have an adventure. I tricked 9th junior sister into going to Regretless Cliff. Senior brother, are you sure this is the way up? This is Regretless Cliff. Can we jump off the cliff now? Xiao Ruoqing said. Jumping off the cliff is fine, but there's one small condition. So, we should bring 9th uncle along. I will always protect you. Xiao Ruoqing was also moved by my deep affection. So Chinger doesn't want revenge anymore? Chinger must first protect the ones she wants to protect. So, my obedient disciple, Xiao Ruoqing is feeling quite conflicted at this moment. Should I trust this great demon one more time? In the end, she decides to trust once more. Master will never betray Chinger, right? Of course not. Though my cultivation is not advanced, I tend to care about gains and losses, and I don't really care about the feelings of those around me, but I still want to give it a try, to cover up the lingering hatred in your heart. Speaking of which, it's been a long time since I took you as my disciple. We haven't really had a heart-to-heart, have we? And I found out that my dear disciple's cultivation is all for revenge. So that's how it is. Let's do a high five. I bring out my trump card. Has your master ever harmed you? How could a master possibly harm her disciple? I swear, as your master, I care about you the most. There's no way I'd ever harm you. Then there's Wang Xiang from Yishan and Xiao Ruoqing, my good disciple. Why don't you do the jump again? Xiao Ruoqing now just feels that her master must be seriously ill. Seeing that Xiao Ruoqing isn't agreeing, but then suddenly remembered something. Wait, he just fell off the cliff. If I hadn't made a move, would he have already discovered the opportunity and found the techniques inside the dead monkey's belly? Ever since we left Mo City, you've been full of jealousy. At this rate, what will happen? If I really kiss him passionately, how could I come to save you? You really should have fallen to pieces, and you just gave up struggling, didn't you? Xiao Ruoqing cried her heart out. Master is kissing Uncle Gio passionately. How could he still care about Qin? My good disciple, I can't even fly yet. Fortunately, at the critical moment, I managed to catch him and save him. Then, I gave Xiao Ruoqing a thorough lecture. I told you not to let go. I was going to tell him not to let go. Your master is here, but my unlucky disciple just wouldn't listen to me. Only when I was about to fall off the cliff did I panic. I just laid my foundation. It's the first time I've seen such a reckless disciple. Just because he caught me kissing my junior sister, I stormed out in anger. Unexpectedly, he fell off a cliff. Luckily, I arrived in time. What he didn't expect was Xiao Ruoqing, being cunning, accidentally fell off a cliff. It seems the idea of the protagonist jumping off a cliff still had to happen after all. She quickly turned and ran away. Tears welled up in Xiao Ruoqing's eyes. He clearly hates Su Bei, but when he saw Su Bei kissing another woman, his heart ached. Senior brother can plant a grove of peach trees for you. Xiao Ruoqing awkwardly approached with tea in hand, but before I could react the next second, junior sister Jiao suddenly kissed me. At that moment, Xiao Ruoqing was shocked, as if struck by lightning. I wonder how you'll handle this next. But with such small schemes from the disciple, how could I, your master, not see through it? If junior sister wants to watch, there happens to be an open space without wind. Master, I just happened to bring peach blossom tea. I'll brew this for martial uncle. Senior brother, does our sword sect have peach blossoms? Looks like master was really making things up that day. Now 9th martial uncle is going to be mad. After walking all day, we're finally safe now. I hurriedly instructed my obedient disciple to bring a pot of tea for junior sister Jiao. Xiao Ruoqing looked at me with a mischievous smile. Don't let any unforeseen disasters befall you. Uncle master cannot encounter any more accidents. Junior sister Jiao was greatly moved. Senior brother's embrace is so comfortable. This kind of surprise wouldn't be bad to have every day. The other party actually has accomplices. Just to be safe, I picked up junior sister and planned to head back to the sect. But at that moment, Xiao Ruoqing stopped me. Master, aren't we going to search the cliff? She just thinks the methods are too cruel. It's indeed deadly, but striking at the head is too sinister. It's really malicious. And I also learned from my junior sister. I noticed something was wrong with Ruoqing. Disciple, have you seen it before? Why such a big reaction? Xiao Ruoqing quickly explained. Xinger has never seen this before. She saw a disciple from the sword sect trapped inside a formation shrouded in dark energy. Then the disciple's sword bone was pulled out from his body by the dark energy. Upon hearing this, Xiao Ruoqing's eyes went blank. She recalled unbearable memories from her past life. Master Uncle Gio, why are you being hunted? Just now, as I passed through here, I discovered that my sword sect disciples were killed by 2 masked men. Who wants to kill my sword sect disciples? 9th junior sister said. Senior brother truly concealed his strength, but in in reality, I hit a fart. It's just that my obedient disciples' cultivation results are being reflected back to me 100-fold. But for now, the wild chicken can only unleash this strike. Xiao Wanqing asked. I only needed one strike. I instantly eliminated the hunters from the sword sect. This is the consequence of harming my loved ones. Junior Sister 9 looked at me with deep affection. Since it was an extreme suggestion, Junior Sister actually kissed me in front of my disciple. My mind feels so itchy. Am I going to be stuck in a love-struck mindset? Today, I finally showed some dominance. I raised the Qingping sword in my hand. Since I took in Useless as my disciple, I've never made a move. Now, I slowly draw the Qingping sword. But today, I want to do something grand. Who can understand this? Family is not even worth that. Seeing the attack being blocked, the masked man intends to engage in close combat. But for me, everything is just an illusion. And act within your abilities. You can break the rules of the cultivation world. He is someone who follows the iron laws. We call him worthless, but someone who doesn't understand the importance of purity among others. When Bulbus took you in, he said that cultivating immortality is an extremely tedious and dull task. The most important thing isn't having exceptional strength, but not meddling in other people's affairs. However, in cultivation, as long as you remain calm, analyze things carefully. How dare you hurt my junior sister? Today, I'll make sure you pay the price. So what if I did? Do you even know your own limits? You, a mere nascent soul cultivator, want revenge? And still managed to escape here. But your attack injured my junior sister. Looks like you're another elder from the sword sect. With such limited skills, you dare imitate others in opening the east gate? What a joke. We'll talk more later. But just at that moment, the masked man from the sword hunting sect appeared. The Yunhai sword heart truly is extraordinary. It withstood our sword strikes, both in the late void refining stage. Not long after, ninth junior sister weakly opened her eyes. But the first thing she said was to urge me to flee quickly. Junior sister, you're safe now. I'll take you back. Thanks to my efforts, ninth junior sister finally coughed out the clotted blood. Master, ninth elder, is she going to be okay now? Do what we can and leave the rest to fate. It all depends on her fortune now. Master, what time is it? You still can't resist taking advantage of the situation. Disciple misunderstood. Quick, get away. I don't want to see you covered in blood. Her mouth is filled with bruised blood. We must get her to expel this breath before she can take the medicine. So I wrapped my arms around junior sister Jio's slim waist, intending to expel the stagnant blood. This infuriated Xiao Ru watching beside us. Isn't Master Uncle going to make it? Don't speak of misfortune, junior sister. He still has the energy to take the pill I gave you earlier. Xiao Ru watching took out the pill and handed it to me. But junior sister Jio is seriously injured and collapsed in my arms, barely breathing. Looking at the injured junior sister, my heart ached for her. Master, Uncle 9, how could this happen? Junior sister, what happened? Run, senior brother. Someone is surrounding us. Before he could finish speaking, junior sister 9 spat out blood. Xiao Rua looked dumbfounded. The book was burned to ashes. How would I know anything about that? But at that moment, the ninth junior sister flew over from a distance. If something really happens, what should I do? What should we name the child in the future? I suddenly asked. Disciple, did the manual mention that the protagonist needs to jump off a cliff? Regardless of gender. It's so dangerous to walk on a small path. Aren't you afraid of running into bad people? At this moment, Xiao Ruochin is still imagining. Now it's just me and Master left. But before I could express my gratitude, I felt a murderous intent coming from behind me. Miss M.O., don't worry, I'll carry it with me until we meet again. Elder Su, are you leaving? The matters here are almost done. It's time to return to Jianzhong. As for Jasmine delivering Elder Su's belongings, I'll open it after I return to Jianzhong. The audience who listened to the lecture all said they were going to Jianzhong. After all, this is a big business of the Great Uprising. Maching is full of lovely people. I'm really crying. At this moment, the Mahist sister followed me out. Many disciples have betrayed my sword sect, but the sword sect gave them 1 million to descend the mountain. Those who betray the sword sect all get 1 million. Then in the future, those loyal to the sword sect will get billions. Applause heard. What that gentleman said is correct. They all say cultivating immortality is difficult. But what exactly is cultivating immortality? How many wrongful immortals have you cultivated? That determines how much tolerance you have. But I feel something is off. Why not mention the sword sect? Why bring up the Confucian school? Am I going to make a dress for someone else? Watch me unleash something fierce. Such good news must be reported to the sect immediately. Meanwhile, the audience below started discussing, praising the Confucian masters. I can understand all of this. That said, it's not a bad idea to let the child go to the Confucian school to study. Although life at the sword sect is pleasant, it's better to return home early. Cultivating immortality is harder than reaching the heavens. I hope to make my mark on the world. I didn't expect that my recently transmitted teachings would impress the Confucian masters so much. Dongfeng's sword sect has immortality. To conquer the top of the second world, the sword sect was towering and destroyed. One man is in charge. No one can open it. Off I go, facing danger. Oh, how hard it is to cultivate immortality. Hard to reach the sky. You will be 108,000 years old. Therefore, we should be friends with Fansai Tongren. And just now, there was a noisy crowd. Now, they're all unconsciously looking up at the sword. The atmosphere is perfect. I begin my performance. When it comes to showing off, I've never lost. We can't let MO family's eggs go to waste. Just before going on stage, I secretly gave a signal to the needle boat below, instructing them to get ready for a big move. Suddenly, a crane appeared in the sky. All because the MO family boldly promised that anyone who came could receive 20 eggs. But unexpectedly, the 100,000 eggs we prepared were snatched up in no time. Fortunately, leader MO was generous. He continued distributing with tears in his eyes. I looked at the crowd below. I happened to walk in and catch him. To know what happens next, see you in the next episode. Who would have thought that even in the cultivation world, people would exploit loopholes? The woman in front of me kept changing into her daughter-in-law's clothes, snatching the reward 5 or 6 times. But they were so expensive. Since I bought them anyway, why not try them on? What a coincidence. Just as he was changing into new clothes. I didn't expect to see you buying clothes too. I don't know what upset 9th junior sister. She just left without saying a word. When we got back, Xiao Ruoqin threw the clothes on the ground. As expected, that demon lord had bad intentions, buying such revealing clothes. Xiao Ruoqin had a shy expression on her face. Master, you're being too exaggerated. Just then, we unexpectedly ran into junior sister Jiao. I quickly greeted her. Pick some appropriate clothes for her, inside and out. Pick only the classy ones. After a while, Xiao Ruoqin came out in her new clothes. She looked like a celestial being descending to the mortal world. It almost blinded my eyes. Everything here is free of charge. Take whatever you like. Sister Yu is really a rich woman. Too bad I can't handle it. Steel Wool is my wife. Hurry, hurry. The shop's about to close. Let's go get your new clothes. Elder Su is here. Are you buying clothes for this young lady? You, the sect leader, has given the order. One by one, we'll take them all. All the ones looking for the old man were tricked into joining the sword sect. Master, what were you doing just now? Before he could finish speaking, he was yanked away. Bastards, you should pull in as many of your peers as possible. Develop them into your subordinates. Set the price difference yourself. Anyway, just come find me at the sword sect when the time comes. Elder Su, don't worry. 10 snacks make up 100 people. Take my token and go to Jian sect for withdrawal. Do you want to do this deal or not? The sword sect is tearing apart the big sects. If you have money, take it. Watching the departing master, Ruo Qing thought to himself, even others can tell. It seems I need to be more careful. An old man with a single disciple for cultivation. Upon hearing this, Xiao Ruoqing was instantly petrified. The candied hawthorn in her hand fell to the ground. Whether the old man was accurate or not, can we talk privately for a moment? It was quite strange. It seems that both of you have some fate to overcome. It seems you will die at his hands. No, no. It looks like he will die at your hands. My inspiration struck. I walked up to the fortune-telling booth. How did the old man read our fortunes? After sizing us up, he was completely baffled. What scheme is he plotting this time? At that moment, Xiao Ruoqin spotted a fortune-teller by the roadside. She quickly called me over. As soon as I heard about fortune-telling, or else you'll get lost. Master, shameless. Xiao Ruoqin was eating the candied hawthorn master just bought. She thought to herself, trying to bribe me with candied hawthorn? Hearing Xiao Ruoqin's muttering, I smirked. I'm actually quite unfamiliar with this place. Good disciple. Quick, grab your master's hand. And we haven't really relaxed. I'll take you shopping. Moments later, we arrived at the bustling night market. I can't help but marvel at how MO City is as bustling as ever. Master seems quite familiar with this area. You will always be the best. Who said you were all alone? From the moment we rescued you from the fire, we became a family. We've been in MO City for so long. She herself is all alone. But I held her hand and said sincerely, silly girl, what are you worried about? In your master's eyes, what do I do when my obedient disciple gets jealous? This little girl was just throwing a tantrum. She was afraid that after I took on a disciple, I wouldn't want her anymore. Molly is inevitably beautiful and outstanding, and she comes from a good family. I didn't even notice your illicit relationship with the master. Such debauchery. In this life, no matter who it is, like Ruoqing Zijuan. Master, I will trample you all beneath my feet. Everyone, I need help. The two of them are also arguing with each other. They are fighting incessantly. Then, Xiao Ruoqin threw down a bottle of elixir and left. Senior sister, in my past life, I was naive. It's indeed Miss Xiao. Why are you so nervous? It's really hard to imagine your relationship. What relationship do I have with my master? It's not your place to gossip about it. Naturally, It's for those who are watching me. Xiao Ruoqin asked shyly. Have you and the master already had a deep exchange? Unfortunately, if it weren't for your untimely arrival, it would be hard to say. Meanwhile, just as Mo Li was about to change clothes, Xiao Ruoqin suddenly arrived. Xiao Ruoqin asked, Miss Mo is choosing clothes. I wonder who she is dressing up for. You better think it through. Don't worry, everyone shares. And it's not just 10. Only 20 would match Elder Su's status. Then I'll leave it to Elder Mo. As long as people show up, they can get 10 eggs. No problem for Leader Mo, right? Consider it done. This little task is on me. Leader Mo, those eggs are no small matter. But I, Su, have an unreasonable request. Before I even finished speaking, Mo Jianwen agreed. Elder Su's words are the same as mine. Feel free to make any requests. In the future, Su will host a Grand Sword Sect recruitment event at the Mo residence. I almost mistakenly harmed you, Elder Su. Patriarch Mo, there's no need to worry. As parents, it's natural to be overly concerned. It's just human nature. They will never lose in a battle of righteousness. I didn't expect that a few casual remarks would actually give my disciple some insight. Emojan is now crying like a downpour. Elder Su, I wrongly judged you with a petty heart. The sword sect was no longer part of the world. Su just wants to tell everyone. Jianzhong people are not good with words. They can't win in debates. But with a sword in hand. The sword sect had 800 origins, and the sword immortal forged thousands of golden cores. The cultivators never retreated. They even fought with their bodies against the sword. Only then were they able to repel the great wasteland cultivators. Later, the world lost the sword sect. Instead, I looked up at the sky. Then I slowly said, the 21 emperors do not emerge. The calamity of all races is like tigers and wolves. Later, the sword sect joined the battle. At that time, the sword sect was still called the world. I told you long ago, the Wuhua sect are all hypocrites. But you didn't believe me. Emojan also realized that he had misunderstood Elder Su. He hurried forward, intending to apologize. But I ignored him. She explained to her father that after Elder Su discovered the child's condition was not right, he immediately brought the child to Honga for treatment, because only Honga's Han Yuchuan could resolve it. When everyone realized I was innocent, they actually turned their anger towards Wu Hua. The family's charm is endless. How terrifying it is. Not long ago, the sisters of the sect fought fiercely for me. Now even the female disciples are becoming jealous of each other. Molly quickly apologized for her father's actions. I finally understand why Emoli licked the blade. Turns out, he inherited it from his dad. And at this moment, Emoli suddenly appeared. Father, I'm here. If you don't give me an explanation today, I will definitely not let you go. If anything happens to Bill, I, Emojan, will never rest until we are done with each other. Seeing this scene, to speak or not to speak, what meaning does it have? Emojan raised the big knife in his hand. He said, you brought my daughter into the red pavilion without clarity. You speak of meaning to me. Seeing the gossip grow louder, Jinjian pointed at me and asked, Elder Su, what's going on? Say something. I then said, yes or no. Are you the lecherous Sube? But I ignored him. Didn't take him seriously at all. The bystanders inside and outside started criticizing. They called me a villain who bullies men and women. Imo Chang turning on us is just a big showdown. Why didn't you protect your sister? Xiao Chang was speechless for a moment. How the hell am I supposed to know where you live? He's stuffing the poison into his own mouth. Xiao Qiang, what happened to your sister? And why are you here? Xiao Qiang said slowly, Father, sister, he's been hit by the Halwan powder. Xiao Chang slowly walked out from the red pavilion. It's already been several hours. I didn't expect Elder Su to be like this. I didn't think my brother-in-law's combat ability was actually so lacking. He only realized it when he bumped into his own father. At this moment, a disciple from the sect hurriedly came to the Mo family leader, Mo Zhan, to request an audience with Elder Su. The disciple overheard Mo's leader declaring that he wouldn't stop until Elder Su was dealt with closely. Good grief. Does that old man want to turn me into a eunuch? Fine, since the MO leader insists, I'll go then. And just at this moment, almost all of them are from the MO family. Such a large family. It's surprising they want me to intervene in such a serious way. It's hard not to suspect someone is pulling strings behind the scenes. Watch how I turn the tables on him in just a moment. Hongxiu joked. Your brother has quite a few enemies. They're all minor characters. No need to worry about them. I just took a quick glance. Honga surrounded by Ma's men. In no time, Honga was surrounded, not a single gap left. Scum, Sube, get out of Macho. The sword and bow that cursed the heavens for Xiao Chao should be fine, but Elder Su took the young lady to the red pavilion. What on earth? Damn you, Sube, how dare you send my daughter to a brothel? I heard that Xiangzi and Lier went to find Elder Su. The butler said they really did have a meal together. Then Elder Su carried the young lady away. Carried her away? Was Lier not feeling well? Turns out, just a moment ago. Master Mo was chatting with the steward. He learned that Elder Su had arrived in Mo City and had drawn the Qingping sword. Indeed, the younger generation is formidable. In a careless moment, I somehow became the public enemy. Everyone wants to take a stab at me. Even the father of my apprentice raised a knife against me. He was planning to give me a beating. It's nothing, there's still some residual medicinal effects. Soak for a little longer. Xinger, I still need to go talk to Sect Master Yu. I'll leave Emily in your care. Who can relate, family? Jasmine was furious upon hearing this. Aren't you afraid I'll smear your reputation? Seeing this scene before her, junior sister Jio angrily turned and left. Emily shyly said, "Thank you, Elder Su, for today's help." At that moment, Xiao Ruoqin suddenly appeared. "Master, what are you doing? I am naturally here to save people. Didn't I mention this to you before we arrived at Hongga? If you don't believe me, ask Jasmine." At the Han bathhouse, I looked into Molly's cold eyes. With confusion, I, the elder, haven't done anything improper. Why is she looking at me like this? Elder Su is indeed at the Red Pavilion, but whether the woman in his arms is alright, that, I wouldn't know. But if you're here to catch someone in the act, I can take you there. The woman in his arms, too. Can you guess what they're here at the Red Pavilion for? At this moment, Xiao Ruoqin shouted, "Impossible. Master isn't that kind of person." "Are you so sure, little sister? And only ended up killing myself? Xujing, everyone has betrayed me. All those who love you, go to hell." Meanwhile, the 9th junior sister and the other person came to Hongga looking for me. Elder Su has been affected by Hahuan powder, and she practices diligently. I guess this is reaping what I sow. But Jasmine still overheard it. "What, my dear disciple? Could it be that in the previous life, I didn't kill Xiao Ruoqin? Otherwise, who could possibly hold back? Truly a rare beauty in the world. I think about her every year. No wonder she's my precious Ruoqin. My disciple is exceptionally talented." He threw it into the pool. Then he jumped in himself. "Disciple, wait. Your master is coming." A moment later, he sighed. "Fortunately, I've achieved a state of selflessness." "Master, what is this? I can't take it anymore." I grabbed Molly and said, "Stop asking so many questions. Just give it to me." She closed her mouth immediately. "Young people, take it easy. Don't wear yourselves out." Then Hongxiu turned and left, leaving just me and Molly. "And you still managed to stay true to yourself. Don't worry. Big sis will take you to the pool." Then, I carried Jasmine and Yu Hongxiu to the sea bath. "This is the pool. I'll leave you two alone." I pushed Jasmine away. "This is my first kiss, after all." Yu Hongxiu teased from the side. "Big sis was right about you. You've also fallen for Huan." I got kissed by my apprentice who was drugged. I could see things were about to escalate. I had to rush and take her to the cold ice. It failed, there's nothing I could do. Who told me to be a serious person? Molly suddenly grabbed my face and kissed me. What the heck? I just got forcibly kissed. And this was my first kiss. It just happened. As long as you're immersed in it and keep washing with spiritual power, you can naturally be freed from suffering. Then I'll trouble you, sister. But at that moment, if not released or suppressed in time, the meridians will be damaged. Sister, are you using poison to counteract poison? But what if it goes wrong? So I've long since memorized Han Yu's pool. There are other ways as well. Then he took out an even more potent drug. After taking it, he became even more unable to resist. However, the effects of the drugs interact with each other. They will travel through the meridians. Could it be that I have to sacrifice my dignity? I really don't want to do this, but saving someone is more important. Then suddenly, Yu Hongxiu said, "Besides that original method, isn't this the girl from Mo City with the strong body? Basically, it just stimulates the nerves in the body, so it doesn't really count as a poison. But how can this be resolved?" I swallowed hard. So it was for this. I don't have time to explain. Have him check Jasmine's condition and ask if there's an antidote. My brother can really endure. I immediately asked where your sect leader was. "Take me to him quickly," Yu Hongxiu teased. "So, this is your preference, little brother?" Ah, such a big commotion just now. Xiao Ruoqing fell into deep thought. But suddenly, junior sister Jio exclaimed, "Could it be that senior brother intends to do something improper to Jasmine?" But clearly, they were overthinking it. After I arrived at the Hong Pavilion, could there be other possibilities? I'll tell Xiao Ruoqing. I need to go ahead to Hongga to handle some matters. You and junior sister Jio should take care of the follow-up. Watching the departing master, and made up her mind not to let her apprentice under Subei. Otherwise, she too would suffer under Subei's tyranny. I quietly asked Xiao Chang, "What's wrong with your sister?" Xiao Chang said, "Just now, for some reason, she was licking a dagger. It could be caused by the medication." "Don't do this, I'm scared. It's so hot, master, please help me." Then she collapsed to the ground. Even Jasmine probably didn't expect to make such a rookie mistake. Xiao Ruoqing saw this scene, and I completely ignored Xiao Qiang. I turned and walked towards the new intimate child. "So, what do you say?" will you take me as your student? However, I noticed that something seemed off with Jasmine this time. Jasmine, calm down. Did you forget that you put medicine on the blade? Let's see how you'll fight me now. Elder Su, you're so handsome. I want to learn this. Please, take me as your disciple. Hurry up and go to the Southern Wind Ancient Kingdom, or you really won't be able to face anyone. Emoli, who was licking the dagger nearby, was called by Xiao Chang. Sister, do you feel anything? Then, with a mischievous grin, he said, Sister. Meanwhile, the elder from Wuhua district was scared to death on the spot. A bunch of spineless things. With such little strength, they dare to act tough in front of me. Fortunately, only the people from Maching know about the sex marriage recruitment. Before, the news didn't spread so quickly. I was actually forcefully kissed. And the person who kissed me, it turns out to be a female disciple who wants to send me to the afterlife at all times. When I drew the Qingping sword, Bo and junior sister Jiu looked at me with admiration. My sword sect will recruit them. You ask why I dare act so recklessly. Sorry. The sword sect with the Qingpin sword can do whatever it wants. Does anyone get it, family? What you don't dare to control, I'll take charge of. Whoever you can recruit, my sword sect will recruit. The people you can't recruit, I'll tell you right now. If Wu Hyuk doesn't recruit them, my sword sect will. What Wu Hyuk doesn't dare to do, my sword sect will do. I gave you some leeway. Since you don't appreciate it, hit me with your heaven-crashing purple gold hammer. At that moment, I suddenly stopped ninth junior sister. Then, arrogantly, I said, you asked what sword sect is worth. Who are you calling a coward? Do you believe I'll hit you? I'll ask you one last time. Who does Wu Hua even think he is? Considering you're just a woman. Elder Su has been hiding behind women. He doesn't even dare to fart. What kind of man stays silent? So this is what the elder of the 985 sect is like, a real coward. The ninth elder can't take it anymore. Elder Wu Hua seems formidable, but his composure and cultivation fall far short of Elder Su's. Elder K from Wu Hua is about to explode with anger. You little brat. You're just showing off. Junior sister 9 and the others are fighting fiercely, and the effects of the Hawan powder in my body are taking effect. I need to fully mobilize the state of egolessness. The other disciples from nearby sects watching the show were also impressed by my demeanor. In comparison, but for now, I will not tolerate anyone slandering her. I will protect my senior brother's smile, communicating with the spirits of heaven and earth. You're only at the mid-stage of your romance. How could this be possible? I was stunned. It felt like something just flew past. Seeing me so calm, the ninth junior sister silently made a vow. One day, I will understand her feelings. A surge of sword energy suddenly struck at Elder Wu Huajue. Not asking about Wu Huajue, what's the point? The fight between the two was quite intense. Suddenly, a sword aura rushed toward me. It almost injured me by mistake. Who's afraid of who? Elder Su can take on all of you, but deep inside, I'm really cursing. Damn it, they're setting me up. Do I really have to use that card? At that moment, Elder Su, your sword sect disciples keep saying you can suppress Luo Meng. Do you dare to fight now? Show me what you've got. Don't say I bullied the weak with my strength. The disciples behind you are getting more arrogant by the minute. Impossible. This kid is at most in the nascent soul stage. Is he seriously bluffing? But to save face, he pointed at me and said, with just one sword, he can suppress you useless Wu Huajue gang. That Elder Su from the sword sect must be the one sitting cross-legged, so composed. I think Elder Su might look down on Wu Huajue and not bother to make a move. The comments from the bystanders made Elder Wu Huajue a bit anxious. And you still have the nerve to show up? You're really dragging our 985 sect down. A mere practice of the void dares to bark. The sword sect won't be at the bottom this year. This year's leader is our Elder Wu. Wen Yen, you're not backing down even with such low skills? What are you guys barking about? A bunch of guys who can't even last 3 breaths. We're not sword cultivators. But your sword sect is always dead last during recruitment. While having tea with the MO family siblings, a few disciples of Wu Huajue at the next table were barking. Oh, aren't those people from the sword sect? Do they still dare to come out and provoke us? Haven't seen you in a few days, and you're still so cocky. Facing Elder Wu Wak's provocation, there's no need for me, the 5th elder of the sword sect, to take action. My little junior sister just needs to make a slight move. She can easily lift him up and beat him down. Just now, I didn't expect senior brother to remember such small details so clearly. He's really making me cry. Xingyue Demonis. I'll remember today's grudge. We'll see about that. But in my eyes, she is still that little girl from hundreds of years ago. Wide-eyed, asking me to shake the peach blossoms for her, to be his 5th senior brother. I'm very proud as your master. The 9th junior sister is true to her name. She leaves no trace. The water remains still. In the eyes of others, she always appears aloof and solitary. I don't believe it. I need to ask him for clarity. Just as junior sister 9 was about to knock on the door, she overheard my conversation with Tua. Master, what kind of person is Uncle Master 9? In my eyes, who would like someone as stubborn and rude as you? And those words, it also struck junior sister 9's Dao heart deeply. She couldn't help but shed tears. Why would senior brother look at me like that? Completely useless, arrogant. Totally clueless. Do you like Su Beisher too? Have you even looked in the mirror? Otherwise, how could you be worthy to speak to me? Not finished yet. The two of them began to fight, but it was obvious. Junior sister number 9 was defeated. Demoness, why are you bewitching senior brother? Seizing the sword sect. My brother draws his sword and is ready to fight. Yu Hongxiu doesn't take him seriously. Fairy Dan is actually Elder Su's junior sister. What exactly is your relationship with senior brother? Immortal Sean, what is our relationship? Don't you already know in your heart? Hearing this, the 9th junior sister immediately bristled, but they're a bit long. Looks like little brother has quite a few good things on him. And this scene, it was just then that the 9th junior sister saw this from outside the door. 9th junior sister asked the sect leader, little brother, why don't you give your sister a gift too? I have something to do. I'll be going now. Yu Hongxiu looks at the gift in her hand. It seems like socks. Given how unbearable it is to look at Hongxiu, I don't dare to look directly. Who can withstand this? I couldn't save him even if I went in. Reciprocity in etiquette. Yu Hongxiu really dares to gamble everything on Su-ha. Since that's the case, then the younger brother accepted it. And he even troubled his sister to prepare 1 million taels of gold. Alright, sister will help the younger brother prepare it. This star moon token belongs to you and has nothing to do with the sword sect. If it's possible, let's call each other sisters from now on. I must admit, with these, you can access all resources of the Star Moon sect. Establish the Confucian vision. This time, the sect master cooperated. The Star Moon sect agreed. I wish to be friends with Elder Su. It has cost you a lot of energy and dedication. The law treats me with such deep affection. Hongxiu agreed without a word. She handed over 6 tokens. These are the Star Moon tokens. I held her hand. A beauty trap like this won't work on Su Meng, but I understand your intentions. Su fully comprehends your efforts. You've expended much effort and care to protect the female disciples of the sect from being bullied by men. At only 500 years old, she's reached her peak. What a genius, indeed. At this moment, Yu Hongxiu has completely fallen. I apologize for my rudeness. Elder Su, please don't take offense. Just a second ago, she was about to attack me. I didn't expect to have her completely under control now. It's just because just now, she was scared by my peak aura. She can hardly believe it. Don't you want to know where my confidence comes from? Today, I'll show you. I pulled out a 5-minute experience card for the River Peak. Next, it's time to witness a miracle. In front of me was a stunning girl. He rewarded me with 2 peak integration experience cards. Sect Master, sit back and watch my performance. Yu Hongxiu was confused. Where does this guy get his confidence? Then I pulled Yu Hongxiu close. Elder Su could end your life with just 1 finger. Unfortunately, my fate is mine, not heaven's. And just now, my disciple broke through the system again. What a waste to waste such a useful brain. As for what the sect master just said, I'll just take it as a joke. There's no need for any hands-on action if I didn't have WeChat to ensure success. Speaking of which, Elder Su, aren't you afraid I might take you out and just replicate your ideas? Elder Wu from the Sword Sect, are you really just bluffing? Elder Su is truly remarkable. Once this matter is settled, it will be worth more than millions of gold. A towering building rises from the ground. The master should take 1 step at a time. Even if others want to join, they'll just get the leftovers. Yu Hongxiu couldn't help but exclaim, what a terrifying mindset. I never heard of such a person before. I wonder what the master is considering. Establish the rankings, which is the so-called Weibo hot search. Next is to launch the membership feature and offer some benefits to the members. As long as we stabilize, but there are always people who want a share of the pie. When things get chaotic, what's the point of the 2 sects joining forces? I told him, just integrate the most discussed topics from the news bulletins. Elder Gio, what do you mean by this? Have you seen through the true nature of your master long ago? That's why you're so harsh to the master. Meanwhile, I was still explaining the concept of Weibo to Yu Hongxiu. Yu Hongxiu asked, the idea is good. In that case, this spirit pearl will serve as your gift for becoming Elder Wu's disciple. But I still need to remind you, your master doesn't really care for you. Xiao Ruoqing looked at the spirit pearl in her hand. As long as you agree, I'll immediately help you craft the perfect strike. Xiao Ruoqing, though tempted, still politely declined Elder Jiu because there are other junior sisters waiting for him to rescue, to prevent the 2 of us from being together. The 9th junior sister suddenly pulled out wings. The heaven and earth spirit pearl. No need to soak in the heavenly pool. Heavenly forces can aid the strike. Bring in at least 10 million taels of gold annually. Yu Hongxiu can't even imagine it, because that would be several times more than Hong's income. It turns out the one who followed earlier was the 9th junior sister. He found Xiao Ruoqing to take her away from me. Even the Star Moon sect is infatuated with me. If the Sword sect can't even produce 10 million taels of gold, how can it afford to cooperate? If I have a plan that can make the Sword sect's cooperation with the Crescent sect, the Sword sect still owes my Star Moon sect 10 million taels of gold. How will you settle this debt? Besides, do you really represent the Sword sect? As the face of the cultivation world, I am welcomed by beauties wherever I go. There are few men in the world who can resist it. Speaking of which, Elder Su is the first man to enter my boudoir. The Star and Moon Demoness is indeed extraordinary. However, I am here to represent the Sword sect in discussions with the Star and Moon sect. The cooperation proposal has some interesting points. I almost fell for it. Hong Xiu thought to himself, I didn't expect that Su Bei would have such composure. Under my charms, you surprisingly remain unfazed. With my allure, even though I've reached great heights, I must remain vigilant and pure. That demon sect which may not compare to this. I told him, the seduction technique of the Star Moon sect's leader is truly formidable. Elder Su, our Red Pavilion's master, is the sect leader of Crescent sect. The sect leader has been waiting inside for a long time. To be honest, your sect leader is truly stunningly beautiful. Which man could resist his temptation? I had to talk to him personally. I told these 3 disciples, it's not that I don't want to help, but I'm out of money too. So you guys just stay here and scrub baths to pay off your debt. He never fakes anything. Besides, everything's signed and sealed. It's giving me a real headache. Even the immortal pigs I raise aren't as expensive as you guys with a few moves. I quickly asked the girl to take me to see Brother Hong. Total, 3,000 taels. Jin Jianting shouted upon hearing this. Nonsense. That's impossible, Elder Su. You know our Brother Hong's reputation. When he says 1, it's 1. You can't even afford 100 grams of snacks? But who would have thought they meant 1,000 taels at once? At that moment, little sister just happened to pull out the ledger. Mo Yuqian, total, 171,000 taels. Hao Shuai, total, 667,000 taels. Jin Jianting. At this moment, one little punk still dared to cry injustice. He said he was cheated. He said it was 1,000 taels of gold. I thought that wasn't much. One snack weighs 10 taels. They were just playing on their own. We didn't lay a finger on them. I went up there with just one leg behind. These shameful things. Look at me. I'm going to teach you a good lesson. But still, I inquired. Even if the disciples of the Sword sect momentarily forgot to bring money, Honggu shouldn't abuse his power. Elder Su, you're wronging us here. During the courtesan contest, the disciples of the Sword sect wanted to make a name for their sect. But unfortunately, they brought people, not money. Oh my. As soon as the door opened, I saw 3 naked men. It's really hard on the eyes. I'm going to negotiate a multi-billion-dollar deal. Then the girl asked me if I brought the money this time, and if I had prepared the ransom. I looked confused. What ransom? Elder Su doesn't know? There's nothing I can do. After all, I'm not only handsome but also wealthy. I took out a few gold ingots and asked them to arrange a room for me. I also wanted to gather some clues about the recent disappearance of the Sword sect disciples. I told Xiao Ruoqing to stay in the room. You don't have to pay attention to him. If there's business to be done, why not do it? Please, go ahead. As soon as I entered the Hong Pavilion, I was surrounded by a group of girls. I am going in to criticize them harshly. Just as we were about to enter, it seemed like someone was following us. This place is not for women, young lady. The woman next to her said, Master, come in and have some fun. He immediately spoke seriously to Xiao Ruoqing, disciple. Tonight, we're staying at Hong Pavilion. Master, isn't this place inappropriate for us? What do you take your master for? So, I left Xiao Chang a token, and told him to meet at the same place and time tomorrow for a gift of fortune. Then he left. Oh, look who it is. Isn't this Master Su? It's been a while since you've come to Hong Pavilion. Just as I was about to ask more specifically about Xiao Chang's sister, my good disciple was already getting impatient. Master, we're here to find clues, right? It's getting late. We still need to find a place to stay tonight. I haven't even come looking for you, yet you delivered yourself right to me. Xiao Chang, hurry up and take me to him. I didn't expect the first thing Su Bei would do after coming down the mountain. You should know the pretty ladies inside are really stunning. I ran into him while shopping today. See this? This is still the token given by Elder Su. I'm not giving Elder Su to you. The woman snatched the token directly. Here, take your Su Bei. I bumped into the elder of the Sword sect. It's very likely Elder Wu from the north. The girl excitedly rushed towards Xiaoqiang. What happened? Are you sure it was the 5th elder of the Sword sect? I'll leave you a chance. When Xiao Chang happily returned home, he began to show off to the woman in front of him. Guess who I ran into? You won't believe it if I tell you. I saw his resentful little eyes staring straight at me. He then handed the letter to Xiao Chang and reminded Xiao Chang, same time, same place tomorrow. I see you have potential. I heard Xiao Ruoqing's cold voice coming from behind. Master, we are here to look for clues, right? It's getting late. We still need to find a place to stay tonight. I turned my head to take a look. Plus, I've heard the fifth elder of the sword sect is not only stunningly beautiful but also unmatched in swordsmanship. You have an older sister. Does your sister also want to go to the sword sect? Before he could finish speaking, isn't the sword sect now just a second-rate sect? Have you considered joining a better one? Xiao Chang instantly got excited. This must be a test from you, senior. My sister and I both believe the sword sect is underrated. This must be an important NPC. Xiao Ruoqing, a classical name. Such a familiar name. I must have heard it in my past life. I asked with a smile. I only heard him introduce himself. I am the son of the Mo family. My name is Mo Xiaoqiang. I feel overjoyed. I just came down the mountain and encountered the child of purple aura. Xiao Ruoqing quietly asked me, Master, is our sword sect really that poorly regarded? Just a bunch of ordinary people. Come on, let's go take a look. Little brother, what's your name? The sect of Sword Dao is so trash. Even the sect's lackeys shook their heads. After all, the Sword Dao sect is still a top-tier sect. My sister is determined to join the sword sect. She even wants to take Elder Wu, her idol, as her master. As if hearing a piece of advice. Entering the city is like arriving at a vegetable market. Many vendors are selling recruitment information for various sects. At this time, a man asked if there was any news of a missing person. I couldn't help but exclaim, Aiwei hasn't been here for about a month. The last time he came was the last time. Xiao Ruoqing was instantly speechless. Listening to your words. Xiao Ruoqing looks displeased with me. Master, what's wrong? It's nothing. Let's hurry up and get going. We should be close to Mo City by now. Just as we reached the city gate. Master, which one is the real you? Can anyone relate? These days, even the system has speed limits. Forced consumption. So I have to buy a membership, right? Your master treats you well, right? Xiao Ruoqing looked at Su Bei in front of her, falling into deep thought. Such precious elixirs were casually given to me. In my previous life, I hadn't even seen a trace of a chi refining pill. Master, in the wilderness. What are you doing? Of course, I'm showing you. These are the treasures, my dear. How's the beginner's gift pack I prepared for you? I told Xiao Ruoqing not to worry about cultivation. As your master, I will find a way to help you. Now, my dear, quickly, help your master untie the belt. We're setting off. Xiao Ruoqing looked at the storage ring in her hand. Master, if only you could always be like this. That would be great. Walking on the road. When Yen realized that he had misspoken, he quickly stepped forward to comfort. Disciple, from now on, this Bujianthing is your home. He then took out a storage ring and gave it to him. Hurry and pack up. We need to set off. But turning around, I saw this little girl fully armed. What are you doing with all that gear? Disciple, are you going back to your family? Master, Xinger no longer has a home. Master, who is this old man? He is, of course, the head of the sword sect. My dear master, don't ask about those things anymore. Are you all packed? To go, of course. It's your fire that did this. I've already become a pauper. Now we need to come down the mountain to seek investments. Xiao Ruoqing looks at the task list. Now, in my 2 lifetimes, I must send you back to your heart. At this moment, I am preparing the things needed for this trip. Master, what are we going down the mountain for? You can go to any sect in the 21 states. But when he saw the sword sect's marriage selection ceremony, he immediately chose the sword sect. Su Bei, you dug up my sword bones, destroyed my sword heart. A cold and aloof beauty steps out of the house. Here are all the acceptance letters from the 985 sects. Which sect to join is up to you. Your talent, sword bone, sword heart, sword body all in one. The senior sister looked furious. Seeing this, the two showed no signs of remorse. She quickly ordered them to be taken to the wall of reflection, contemplating for 50 years. On the other side, in Mo City, what kind of sins did I commit in my past life? Why does everyone want to send me to my death? The second senior sister and the sixth one started arguing after being slapped in the face. I'm really fed up with you, sixth one. Could I have gotten in without you? There should be no women in your heart. Then drawing the sword will naturally be divine. This young lady before us is the latest child of charm. What's unexpected is, he actually also returned to life with memories of his past life. The way of the sword. The most important thing is to distance oneself from emotions. Women only affect the speed of drawing the sword. If you want to comprehend the state of no self, everyone please remember, I endured hardships in my past life to attain enlightenment. But now that this demon lord has reached his peak, how am I supposed to avenge this grudge? Senior sister asked Xiao Beibei how he realized the state of selflessness. She rushed over and saw me holding the Qingping sword. With an arrogant expression. Today, I, Su Bei, have reached the Grandmaster level. With the Qingping sword, I shall one day restore the glory of the sword sect. At this moment, Xiao Ruoqing collapsed on the ground. Countless sword shadows surrounded the blade's edge. The twin sisters looked at me with admiration. While Xiao Ruoqing was still feeling proud after breaking through the chi barrier, she suddenly noticed an unusual sound from the wind. What on earth is happening? I will gladly eat it. A pound of olives. Before he finished speaking, I gently waved my hand and pulled out the dragonfly sword. She is really my savior. Next, it's my turn to shine. Today, Subedu dares to draw the sex-treasured clear poverty sword. The second senior sister is still mocking the guy who has high standards but low skills. If you can pull it out. Suddenly, the system prompted that Xiao Ruoqin has broken through to the chi refinement stage. She has comprehended a trace of the selflessness realm. I also received a reward because of this. I have comprehended the great accomplishment of selflessness realm. She truly deserves to be the child of fortune. People like Su Bei, who only seek fame and fortune, disgrace the sect's most treasured artifact. Even that sixth junior chimed in, saying the sect's treasure must not be touched. Su Bei has to be locked up for 50 years. If it really falls into their hands, what good could possibly come my way? I was really annoyed, even though my strength is just SOSO. But it's not just anyone, right? Then second senior sister said to those below, poverty and humility cannot be controlled without great strength. Really gave everyone a hard knock. And just at that moment, second senior sister started causing trouble again. She actually said I'm just some nobody, not worthy of touching the sect's treasures. Suddenly I saw a figure descending from the sky. The sixth brother has arrived. Everyone get out of the way. In the next second, there was a loud bang, landed directly on my head. Old Lu quickly explained that he just passed by and saw nothing. The greeting was quite reasonable, right? The senior sister asked me why I wasn't making a move yet. Was it too many people and I was nervous? Just as I was about to explain, I would join the spectacle too. Elder Wan Yen reported that the troublemaker from Su Bei burned our ancestral grave. What qualifications does he have to draw his sword? Old Lu reminded second senior sister that it seems we also burned it, right? Today, I want to see why Su Bei thinks he can wield the Qingping sword. At this time, the second elder and sixth brother were passing by on their way to the meditation cliff. They didn't expect so many people to be worshipping the Qingping sword. At this moment, the elder from the discipline hall replied to the fifth elder, today we shall draw the Qingping sword. If it weren't for the mission, Bei can actually pull out the Qingping sword. The eighth junior sister looked like she was love-struck, right? Senior brother also taught me a set of sword techniques. It's called the perfect sword technique. It's said to be the selfless sword. Aren't you just making things worse for the fun of it? I'll just grab a hammer. It's purely a coincidence. The senior sister is still a bit worried. Everyone asked about the two sisters. Elder 5 is about to draw the clear poverty sword. Everyone, hurry and call people to observe. Not long after, everyone arrived. Can you not be so ridiculous? Senior sister insisted that I demonstrate once. The eighth junior sister next to me saw that I wasn't making a move. She thought I was just being overly pretentious. Everyone's wildly chiming in to take a look. Come and see. I, Xiao Ruoqin, will surely reach the peak. Who understands? My friends, it's over. I didn't expect that just because I accidentally pulled out the sect's supreme treasure, the Qingping sword, last night. It surprisingly attracted so many people to watch. I need to practice my swordsmanship even more. If one doesn't work hard while young, they can't take their master's life. And just as Xiao Ruoqin continued cultivating, she unexpectedly felt the legendary state of selflessness. It seems that in this lifetime sect competition of 21 states, living in poverty requires showing some face. The happiness in life depends entirely on you. On the other side, Xiao Ruoqin is diligently training as a spy. She almost broke through to the refining wonder realm in just one day. I truly am a peerless talent in the immortal cultivation world. The senior sister understands instantly. Well then, let's just forget it. After all, everyone has their off days. I feel like I've been invigorated. A man cannot say no. I wonder if I can give a demonstration to the senior sister. I look so awkward. How could I possibly pull it out? That was definitely just a coincidence. The eighth junior sister keeps making snide remarks. It was really difficult for the senior brother to communicate with the Qingping sword just now. It shouldn't be possible now. Are you afraid that the senior sister will stumble upon something unspeakable? Junior sister 8 quickly explained that we came to learn sword techniques. The senior brother is amazing. He can draw the Qingping sword now. I didn't expect Xiao Bei to be able to draw the Qingping sword. Damn it! Then the two of them started to play fight in the haystack. Their playful noises were noticed by senior sister nearby. Two junior sisters. Why are you hiding in the grass pile at this late hour? In a secluded place. Straightforward. She stared fiercely at her sister. If it weren't for you, I might have already taken care of senior brother. Leave this matter to me. Meanwhile, junior sister Jiao, hiding in the grass, trembles slightly. In broad daylight, before the ancestral grave, a man and a woman alone. But the system suddenly notified me that a child of red chi was found in Mo City. I can change my expression in an instant. Don't worry, junior sister. As an elder of the sword sect, I have a duty to fulfill. To have little Bei help me investigate secretly. I wonder if you'd be willing. Honestly, I don't want to go. Look at me. I'm so weak. I'm afraid I might get kidnapped too. I'm a bit scared. I suspect that recently some people want to harm our sword sect. Half a month ago, a group of disciples from the sword sect went missing in Mo City. So I want to use this matchmaking event as an opportunity. In my opinion, Xiao Beibei, you still have a lot of hope. Xiao Beibei, let's not talk about this for now. Senior sister has something she wants you to help with. Senior sister, please just say it. Or have the sword's recognition. But I obviously don't agree with that statement. After all, it requires reaching a state of no self. Yet, it seems no one in the sword sect can achieve that state. Still, my sister encouraged me. Being so low-key now, it doesn't fit his character. So the senior sister decided to use a provocation method to see if I could draw the Qingping sword. She said that anyone who can draw this sword must either be incredibly strong. Beibei has really gained some skills. No, the Qingping sword has been drawn before. Who could this person be? If it's Xiao Beibei, he would have drawn it publicly to show off long ago. What's wrong, little Beibei? You're not even glancing at your sister. And just at that moment, the senior sister noticed there were 2 footprints on the ground. A prick, 2 times. Being too handsome is definitely a headache. At this moment, the senior sister came over and started acting cute with me. I also had quite a headache. Senior sister, be mindful. This doesn't look good. There was only one thought in their minds, and that was to make sure senior sister didn't find them. What kind of weird day is this? All the girls from the sect are visiting one by one. There's enough for a full mahjong table. What have you been up to behind my back? Spill the beans quickly. But just then, when the 2 heard senior sister's sickly sweet voice, the sisters immediately huddled together. What kind of karma have I committed? How did I end up with these 2 sisters? The 9th junior sister hiding in the grass looks furious. I can't believe the one dating the 5th senior brother is actually the older sister. You better tell me what you 2 are doing here at night. Forget it. My head can be severed. Blood can flow. I can't lose my aloof persona. I should hide quickly. So, junior sister 9 took the opportunity to sneak into the haystack when I wasn't paying attention. At this moment, I felt utterly despondent. Now we almost have enough for a game of mahjong. Why did senior sister come too? Could she be interested in senior brother too? If he doesn't come, maybe senior brother would have been mine by now. But right at this moment, senior sister also flew towards me. I was speechless. Doesn't anyone rest at night? Why is everyone looking for me? And I happened to fall right into her arms. What the heck is going on? Why does he look so happy? I finally fell into senior brother's arms. This feeling is just wonderful. I'm waiting for you to pounce over. But just at that moment, I let my guard down for a second and was about to fall. Then I saw 9th junior sister sliding towards me. Junior sister is right. In that case, I should take a break. Junior sister Joe's cheeks turned red. Brother, your acting is terrible. I'm definitely done for. I can't just sit and wait for it to happen. They say these cold, aloof beauties hate smelly men the most. Why not try reversing the operation? Then I made a lewd expression. Senior brother, why are you sweating so much? You should go to a more comfortable place and rest early. I'm feeling really awkward right now. It seems like he's noticed something. If he finds out about this, and lay down on the haystack first. Did you hear something, senior brother? Not really. Maybe I was just too comfortable. I might have let out a small hum. Look at how nervous senior brother looks. And the ruler I just found. I'm definitely sleeping on this haystack. Then, the 9th junior sister leaped toward the haystack. I made a quick dash. I quickly stopped the 9th junior sister. How can junior sister sleep on this haystack? Senior brother will sleep here. You can rest at the cottage on the peak. Wouldn't it be even better to enjoy the moon from the peak? Feel free, senior brother. There's no wind tonight, and the moonlight is just right. I'll stay here and enjoy the moon. If I'm tired, I'll rest here on this haystack. I grab the ruler and use it to scratch an itch. Junior sister, if there's nothing else, you should head back. I'm feeling a bit tired myself. I'll get some rest soon. The junior sister calmly replied. And why is there a ruler under his feet? At this moment, 9th junior sister also feels the familiar aura on the ruler. She's about to run towards it. I make a quick dash, getting ahead of her. I told junior sister. It was a movement technique I just comprehended. It requires constant footwork to get through critical moments. Senior brother is really strange. Who practices martial arts by doing splits? I'm afraid I might be locked away for 50 years in solitary reflection. Junior sister suddenly sensed a woman's scent in the air. And it felt very familiar. She also noticed there were other footprints on the ground. I quickly shouted out. The pig pen without wind has turned into a battlefield between 2 sisters. First, my 8th junior sister shyly came to me to discuss swordsmanship, but who knew the 9th junior sister would rush in? I had no choice but to tell the 8th sister to hide in the pig pen for a moment, but she's about to be found. But sister May is quite upset at the moment. Brother must have just been with another woman. Ugh, I even got my tail ready. And you're out playing with another woman? What kind of drama is this? He usually looks down on me in various ways. Now he sneaks over at midnight. Isn't it just to see my poverty? I am a man of vision. Why would I care about these things? My brother can come anytime without a care. I looked at the ninth junior sister. I asked her why she appeared in the windless place at midnight. She coldly replied that she was just admiring the moon. Why is it that I can't come to a place without wind as well? I still don't know that he has ulterior motives. Ninth junior sister's heart started racing. The fifth senior brother truly deserves to be called a real man. He bears the blame for his disciples during the day. At night, he endures loneliness alone. I didn't expect my senior brother to be so lonely that he recites poetry to the pigsty, but as soon as he came over, he smelled the scent of a woman, and this scent smelled more like senior sister. At that moment, I appeared before ninth junior sister with a deeply affectionate look. Today, senior brother's not so great luck got burned so badly. I happened to pass by. Helping him out should be the right thing to do, right? If senior brother ends up alone, just the two of us, a man and a woman, in the same enclosed space, it's too exciting. It's best not to be disturbed by others. You need to tighten your aura. Don't let him find out. Then, junior sister 8 hid in the haystack as I instructed. At this moment, junior sister 9 was drooling as she flew towards me. Is there anything to be ashamed of? That's true, but if he finds out about a lone man and woman flying together at night, he'll definitely want to skin me alive. So I said that now is a crucial time for cultivating the sword's heart. Someone actually flew in my direction. Looking at Lin Lin, she looked a bit like junior sister 9. Just as the 8th junior sister was about to greet me, I managed to stop her in time. I told her to hide in the pigpen for now. Senior brother, you're just asking me to cultivate. I told my junior sister that the Qingping sword had its own thoughts. He is already asleep. But junior sister still wondered if the sword could also sleep. I told her, who would get up in the middle of the night to practice swordsmanship like us? And at that moment, I felt so awkward. Junior sister, you don't know. This kind of divine object must have gained intelligence. Let me communicate with it first. After a while, what the heck? Did I just pull out a dragonfly sword? I can't believe I missed such a great chance to show off. I was planning to demonstrate to junior sister how I draw the Qingping sword, but at this moment, junior sister noticed that the Qingping sword seemed completely still. She was still quite shocked. Why did senior brother draw the clear screen sword, but refused to show it in the daytime? I kept acting cool and said it was just casually picking up a sword, but the next second, I realized, senior brother understands you. It seems you have already grasped the essence of this sword technique. Keep practicing diligently. You can become stronger too. Although the 8th junior sister didn't understand the Tai Chi, but when it comes to martial arts, you have a photographic memory. Junior sister said timidly, I've forgotten all of the sword techniques you showed just now. You're being modest, junior sister. No need to say more. Manhwa watched. Immediately, I performed the Tai Chi sword technique I had trained in for 2.5 years for junior sister 8. Afterward, I asked junior sister to remember brother Wen's techniques. In my opinion, although junior sister is a bit greedy at times, I arrogantly said, it's indeed lacking something. Since junior sister likes it, I'll demonstrate it once more. Then I casually picked up the sword beside me. The 8th junior sister came to challenge me, dressed in black stockings and a small outfit. But before she could even utter any harsh words, she started acting all coy with me. The scene of senior brother commanding everyone during the day was still fresh in her mind. She hoped senior brother could teach her a thing or two. No matter how good you are to me, you won't change my resolve. In this life, I will send you on your way. How thrilling it is for a lonely man and woman to be together in a pigsty. That night, this matter cannot just be dismissed. If there's a chance in the future, I'll teach you a lesson. It's getting dark. You should rest and recover well in the cottage. I'll go deal with the pigs for the night in ENGSUB. Seeing Xiaoru watching unresponsive for a long time, he decided to touch his head. Such a silly child. In the world of immortality, deceit is everywhere. Those without power are nothing at all. But first, let me treat your wound. At this moment, Xiaoru watching felt deeply conflicted. Have you forgotten the previous life? He was stabbed without any hesitation. What a disgrace. Stretch out your leg. The pants I had custom made for you are already torn. What a pity. Luckily, I had many more made for you. I'll put a new pair on you in a moment. I must have known my intentions from the very beginning. But just when Xiaoru watching was lost in thought, a finger was placed on her lips. My foolish disciple, just sit there. Burning the ancestral tomb, killing the master. Xiaoru watching was startled. Is Subei testing me? Watching him come closer and closer, I simply closed my eyes. At this moment, Subei is lying in a pavilion, reprimanding Xiaoru watching. You've only been here 2.5 days, and you've already burned the ancestral tomb. If you train for another 2.5 years, are you going to kill me, your master, too? Shi Qingyi Jun Wuxie. You two idiots, go face the wall. Stay there for 50 years. The scene shifts. The great sword. But in the next second, everyone was stunned. Some treasure, huh? There wasn't even a fart. The eldest sister said angrily. Got confirmation from the second senior sister. Lao Lu held nothing back. He went straight for the big move. Fireball technique. Shouted, come out. Jun Wuxia, you are so bold. How dare you burn the ancestral grave? But then the second senior sister suddenly stood in front of the sixth brother and said that it was all because he told Lao Lu to do it. There's treasure down below too. It seems that way. Moreover, his ancestral grave has already been burned. What if there really are treasures down there? How could it possibly have nothing to do with me? At this moment, the senior sister rushed over. Only the drunken sword, where the edge is hidden. It has the refined poor sword and the drunken sword edge. So why shouldn't there be a peerless treasure? Second senior sister, upon hearing this, try making a move. I dare you. Stop it right now, you brat. Lao Lu's face was full of admiration and said, Senior sister, when searching for dragon veins, observe the surrounding mountains. It's better to see the ridge than the peak. The feng shui of our ancestral tomb is even better. He went to Drunken Sword Peak to burn the ancestral graves. Upon hearing this, second senior sister immediately flew to Drunken Sword Peak. You little brat, sixth elder, are you tired of living? With the Qingping sword standing before the monument. What an honor. But just at that moment, a disciple from Zuijian Peak rushed over to report. Who knows what got into the sixth elder? Probably only Master, that old man, can pull it out. Second senior sister gazed at the Qingping sword, thinking how wonderful it would be if such a treasured sword could be placed at Zuijian Peak. How glorious that would be. 3,000 disciples of Zuijian Peak paying respects to their ancestors. Meanwhile, sixth brother was thinking that if Wu Jianfeng's ancestral tomb could produce a sword, other peaks could surely produce swords too. I'm such a genius. At this moment, senior sister had already given up. After all, it's the sword sex treasure, unexpectedly blasting out the sex priceless treasure. Then, the senior sister pushed him aside, intending to pull out the Qingping sword from Bu Jianfeng's grave. But despite using all his strength, he couldn't pull the sword out at all. Isn't it wonderful? I have to say, sword sex 6 Zhang Net's way of thinking is truly bizarre. Just a moment ago, Subei set fire to Bu Jianfeng's ancestral grave. How did you know it had to be burned with fire? That's a secret senior brother doesn't want to talk about. He has to savor it alone. Just like this Qingping sword. We'll let him be unable to pull it out here. Never underestimate the young and poor. These words have echoed in my ears ever since. Junior sister 8 is now spinning around with a look of innocence. Senior brother, does this have anything to do with finding the Qingping sword? And also, even so, I never gave up on myself. I still trained day and night. 100 years on the east side of the river, 100 years on the west side. How did the sword that the old man couldn't find for hundreds of years suddenly appear after a fire? I immediately entered my bragging emperor mode, saying that 100 years ago, I discovered how to cultivate like this. I was never destined for spiritual power. But second senior sister still didn't give up. I questioned, although finding the humble swordsman was a great achievement. Since you already knew the sword sex treasure was here, why didn't you tell me earlier? Then, when the senior sister suddenly asked, because you're my good disciple. Xiao Ruoqin looked at me with deep affection. She thought to herself, why has master become so gentle in this life? I don't believe it. He must be pretending. I won't be fooled again. My dear disciple also appeared, crying and saying he didn't dare to come out because his clothes were burned. I then draped my cloak over him. He softly said, no need to say more. Whatever you say, master will believe you. Speaking of obtaining the Qingpin sword, destroying the sword of no sword would not be too much. As long as I have the Qingpin sword, my sword sect can return to its former peak. At that moment, they said, so that's why senior brother burned his ancestral grave for the Qingpin sword. It's so impressive. I arrogantly looked at second senior sister, who had committed the great sin of burning the ancestral grave. May I ask, second senior sister, how many years will you be sentenced? The senior sister hurried over to defend me. Is that reason good enough? Honestly, I was panicking inside. Fortunately, this system is quite reliable this time. Otherwise, I would really have to enjoy my old age facing the wall. The junior sisters all looked at me with admiration and demonstrated the technique of essence division and acupoint allocation. After an explosion, everyone looked at me in shock. I slowly said, my efforts in mastering the art of exploration weren't in vain. Second senior sister burned the ancestral tomb all for the Qingpin sword. Why are you flying? Hiding behind a stone, Xiao Ruoqin looked puzzled. What's going on here? Why did the explosion of the ancestral grave resonate with all the elders' swords? I recited the incantation. Sixth brother suddenly noticed the tomb was about to explode. The ancestral grave exploded in the next second. Then everyone's accessories floated in the air. Lao Lu cried out, my pig leg. You're not a sword. She sneered and said, stop putting on a mysterious act. No one can save you now. I didn't respond. I just channeled spiritual energy into the ancestral tomb. And at that moment, do not trouble my good disciple any further. I took a deep breath and slowly began to speak. But aren't you all curious why I want to burn the ancestral tomb? Second senior sister looked disdainful. Subei, you said this yourself. I looked at the system reward and said arrogantly, yes, 1,000 times yes. The fault is mine. This is definitely the most filial disciple in the world. Just a second ago, I had set the ancestral grave on fire, but the next second, I jumped out, pointed to the sky, and shouted that this fire was set by my command. As soon as I finished speaking, everyone present was shocked. I could see the second senior sister's expression darken. Whatever he does must have some significance. Master, oh master, the last time, the chicken soup didn't trip you up. I don't believe that this time, burning the ancestral grave, you can still get away with it. In the end, you still lost to me. Asking who that female disciple was. Are you kidding me? I've been counting on my disciple to milk him dry for the rest of my life. How could I possibly let him go to face punishment? Besides, that waste of space is the chosen one. Meanwhile, the 9th junior sister is thinking about burning her own ancestors' graves. That way, we can be locked up together. In the future, the boy will be called Su-de, and the girl will be called Su-lon. Second senior sister kept pressing Su-bei relentlessly. She even said it might be the doing of that female disciple. It also can't escape its connections. At this moment, everyone has their own thoughts. The senior sister keeps silently reminding you not to plead guilty. Otherwise, I really won't be able to help you. Burning ancestral graves is a grave sin, but the real culprit is truly unforgivable. Please, senior sister, see clearly. Don't let an innocent person take the blame. At this moment, senior sister 2 came to add fuel to the fire. Not a day less. 8th junior sister hurriedly stood in front of me, defending me, saying the ancestral tomb wasn't master's. How can he be blamed for the fire? Who knows, senior sister 9 said righteously. Second senior sister can't stand it anymore. Don't try to evade the issue. The destruction of the ancestral tomb is a grave crime. A few mere immortal pearls won't allow you to twist the facts. No matter how you defend yourself, you won't escape 50 years at the wall of reflection. And immediately panicked. Oh no, the great elder seems to want me to take the blame. Meanwhile, Su-bei is still crying over her immortal pearl. That's 50,000 taels walking away. Just like that. It's gone. Immediately gave an international gesture. You're truly a Lao Lu. So, it seems, people born in the year of the pig are probably connected to arsonists. Xiao Beibei, where's your disciple? Xiao Ruoqin saw this scene. He wouldn't have gone bankrupt right away. At this point, Lao Lu said again, senior brother, next time you need to count pigs, come to me. I guarantee not a single one will be missed. Upon hearing this, Su-bei, you're betraying your master and your ancestors. This is my pig-raising plan. This is my start-up capital. I'm really such a fool. If he hadn't prepared torches for his apprentice, add a little seasoning, and it would be even better. The senior sister enjoys the excitement and doesn't mind the trouble. She couldn't help but laugh and said, little Beibei, so, your little treasure chest is so abundant. The second senior sister questioned Su-bei, are you using the ancestral grave to raise pigs? Waiting for me to be blamed. Unexpectedly, I was still a step too late in the end. My beloved immortal pig was roasted into a suckling pig. Old Lu beside me, gnawing away, said, senior brother, this immortal pig tastes pretty good. I flew straight towards the ancestral grave. My pig. Don't let them burn my immortal pig. The ancestral tomb that vanished without a trace has been burned to ashes by my good disciple. Xiao Ruoqin hurriedly found a place to hide. A whiff of aroma reached Lao Lu's nose. Such a rich scent. It feels like a roast suckling pig is calling out to me. As soon as I heard roast suckling pig, I had a bad feeling. Right when the Jianfeng conference was in full swing, a disciple suddenly reported that smoke was rising from Bo Jianfeng's ancestral tomb. At this moment, the second senior sister stood up and asked in confusion, 5th junior brother, what have you done? You can't even keep an eye on your own mountain? Don't blame your disciple for being clumsy. I'm sending you to the wall of reflection, a lifetime of regret. I didn't expect my good disciple to stir up trouble again. This time, he even set fire to the ancestral tomb of Bu Jianfeng. By the way, Tian is flying away soon. Remember to bring a torch for lighting. Make sure not to count wrong. At this moment, Xiao Ruoqin had a sly smile. Master, this was your idea, after all. At this moment, Su-bei walked in. Disciple, stop your practice for now. Go to the back mountain and count how many spirit pigs there are. Isn't that the ancestral graveyard? Su-bei is actually raising pigs in the ancestral grave of the elders. You evil demon, you actually dare to humiliate me. Once I see you finish your training, I will surely tear you to pieces. I will send you to your end. But unexpectedly, she was hit by a critical blow right at the start. Who says the protagonist must cultivate using a manual? You didn't really believe that, did you? I just made that up earlier. She was so angry that she tore the useless book to shreds, made them into soup dumplings. This way, won't the funds be secured? Truly clever, like me. On the other side, Xiao Ruoqin opened the Peerless Martial Arts manual given by her master. What filling does senior sister eat every time? It should be pork filling, right? How could the boss possibly give her crab roe? Pork filling. I just happened to cut off all the fresh pigs I raised on the back mountain. Junior sister continues to pile on. Others use repairs and reinforcements to pay off debts. Now that store's defenses are stronger than our sword sex. Senior brother, What happened to you? Why are you staring at me, saying so big, so white? Sube quickly explains, I just really want to eat some soup dumplings. Senior brother, just forget it. That soup dumpling shop at the foot of the mountain hasn't seen senior sister's money in 20 years. Sube is speechless. Even though I knew senior sister was stingy, I didn't expect her to be this stingy. For the sake of senior sister, even if I die and my path is lost, what is there to regret? I'll just go for it. Junior sister, don't be a wet blanket. I was left speechless. Due to tight funding for workers, we need to organize it ourselves to solve the funding issue. But for the sake of Zone Day, beliefs must dare to challenge. Looking at the admiration in Junior Sister 8's eyes, I suddenly realized I had overdone it. I quickly changed the subject. What was it you said senior sister was going to give me? But who knew, when I opened the letter? At that moment, Sube asked his junior sister if she knew what the sword heart was. The sword heart is the heart's eye of the sword. Unmatched and fearless, it charges forward. The sword wielder must possess a sharp blade, a sharp disguise. She actually put on black stockings right away. Sube instantly remembered something, but to avoid exposure. Brother Wei, you should find a set of clothes that suits you. Then the 8th junior sister changed into the outfit prepared for her by Sube. The same as the unmatched sword princess. Is this gift supposed to make you mad? But I still want to say, seeing this scene, who could possibly handle it? Seeing junior sister number 8 being so bold. Since junior sister wants it, I'll give it to you. But who knew junior sister would change into them right then and there? Senior brother, these pants are so comfortable. If I wear these pants, do I not need to wear a skirt anymore? Truly beneficial for everyone. Do you still have any more, senior brother? Junior sister wants pants like these too. There aren't any extra bras. I was planning to keep this pair for myself. That pair of pants you're neglecting. Speaking of this, I got excited. These are pants made from black-dyed ice silkworm threads, fitted closely. Not only lightweight, but they also add 50 to attack speed and critical hit rate. Junior sister wouldn't know when she could step into the void training realm. Xiaoru watching is also a bit confused at this moment. To guide someone in void training, you must at least be at the peak. Could it be that this great demon is hiding her cultivation level? At this moment, the junior sister suddenly looked at her senior brother. Does it look like they're receiving a blessing? Forget it, senior brother. Actually, junior sister mainly wants to thank you. Senior brother, please don't be modest. If it weren't for these few words, I hurriedly explained, the immortal supports me from above. The binding beast grants longevity. Isn't this just a ritual to pass on knowledge to my disciple? What's so wrong with that? But look at your disciple's expression. Seeing the scene in front of her, she immediately exploded. Senior brother, in broad daylight, the world is bright and clear, and yet you're doing this kind of thing here? As the fierce energy poured in, Xiao Ruoqing shouted, Master, no more. It's so painful for your disciple. And at that moment, the 8th junior sister walked in. I replied with a smile. Of course, everyone is the main character of their own life. With that, I placed my hand on his forehead. Be confident, I will initiate you right now. Feel the flow of energy carefully. At that moment, he was startled. Could it be that my reincarnation has been discovered? No. I need to get a sense of what he's saying. Master, this book is so strange. Do you think I'm the main character and some destined child? Only then did I find this unparalleled divine skill. You must treasure it. Then, Xiao Ruoqing began to read. If you are confident as the son of Qi Yun in appearance, then give up this book. Xiao Ruoqing silently thought. Yes, master, I will definitely practice hard and then turn you to ashes. This is the first time I've gone through countless texts in that Sanjian pavilion. Oh. She must want me to teach her kung fu. Avenge the family. Are you missing home? Practice hard. In the future, wherever the wind blows, that will be your home. I know you're excited about getting a new manual, but you crumpled the spy. It'll shake a lot in the electric chair. Xiao Ruoqing turned her head with a vicious expression. Weird. What's with that murderous look? And not only that, you even dug out my Dao bone. So much for not wanting to harm me. Jian Ruoqing was still warning me. I wondered if she was a spy. My dear master really knows how to talk. Back then, to save me, you were merely using me as a stepping stone for your cultivation. To break through, you tormented me day and night, focusing on my skull, and the Dao heart isn't firm. You could die? I chuckled. Do you still not trust your master? How could I harm you? Upon hearing this, Xiao Ruoqing gave a dark smile. My master really makes it look easy. Xinger has been waiting for my master all along. The protagonist must cultivate. Xiao Ruoqing pointed at the technique and said, Master, doesn't it say if the fortune isn't good? This time, I'm directly cultivating as a spy. I'll take down that big demon. At this moment, I returned to the room. I said, look quickly. I've prepared a great treasure for you. I didn't expect that the most affectionate elder Wu of the sword sect actually wanted to pursue me. Why does my newly accepted obedient disciple stare at me with eyes full of hatred? It's only because in the last life, Sube not only schemed against Xiao Ruoqing, but also took her rice for his own use. In my last life, I knew they would use those miscellaneous books to distract me. That's all. Let's go back first. After Sube left, junior sister sister Gio walked to the place where he had just flipped through the dense texts. The aloof junior sister has fallen in love with me. Clearly, junior sister Gio misunderstood. From just now, why do I feel like someone is watching me? But there's no one else here. It's just me and the ninth junior sister who is guarding us. It can't be this cold iceberg, right? You're the one, then. But I was immediately startled by the book next to it. Cold and aloof junior sister falls in love with me. This is all a mess. Something's wrong with my thinking. After all, there's still a mission to complete. I need to choose a good technique for my obedient disciple. Wow, he actually dares to say this is a technique the protagonist must learn. Such arrogance. But being in the restricted section means it's definitely not ordinary. Elder Five's words awaken those lost in a dream. Such methods, how could they be just mere avatars? And on the other side, Subei flaunted and then left. Suddenly, he picked up the sword and stood up. Senior brother is not wrong. I also want to shout sword comes, like senior brother. I didn't expect junior sister 8 to truly step into the mid-stage of the refinement. The disciples behind are all guessing. I didn't expect senior brother's realm to be so high. Junior sister must be dreaming. However, Subei was speechless. You're turning red. Bubble teapot. I, from the north, wish for all new swordsmen in the world to be able to slice through the heavens with a single sword. A lifetime with the sword. The world comes with the sword. Junior sister has been completely won over by Subei. One sword can bring peace to all injustices in the world. A single sword is unashamed, while the world has its shameful people. This is the way of the sword. Everyone present fell into deep thought. What a magnificent way of the sword. He's afraid if he keeps talking, he won't be able to back it up. Ah, life is fleeting, like plants that wither in the fall. All things in the world can be solved by a single sword. Man is the sword. The sword is man. When man and sword become one, the sword is invincible. At this moment, Subei is trying to think of a reasonable excuse. Otherwise, anything he says will just sound pretentious. You've really disappointed me. Let me ask you, as a sword cultivator, do you know what the way of the sword is? Senior sister believes the way of the sword is boundless. The sword of infinity can shatter all techniques. Isn't the fifth elder too arrogant? Ah, if only I could bluff my way through like senior sister does with couplets. But to maintain my image, I have no choice but to keep pretending to be a reclusive master. Junior sister, do you really not get it? Subeiwan was dumbfounded. Wasn't I just spouting nonsense back then? You actually took it seriously. Several disciples behind were also shocked. Yuan Chao cuts through stardust. She was shouting about what senior brother said 2 years ago. With just a blade of grass in hand, I can sever the stars in the heavens. I still haven't comprehended it. Now that I've seen senior brother today, please enlighten me, senior brother. As your master, I should teach you cultivation techniques. Naturally, it should be the best one. Having said that, he set off alone to the sword hiding pavilion. He just pushed the door open. Then I saw the 8th junior sister rushing towards me. Tang Jianga has many more powerful techniques than him. Master, could you help me check the Tangjian pavilion to see if there are any suitable cultivation techniques for your disciple? Subei playfully acted cute. Inside, he was already smiling broadly. It's not difficult at all. Xiao Ruoqing didn't report to the master. This is a secret technique of the sword sect. Subei has the demeanor of a big shot. So what? Just a mere spy. But at that moment, Subei suddenly snatched the spy from his hand and quickly threw it back. Otherwise, the bed would rock back and forth while sleeping. Wanting revenge is a good thing. But how can such an ordinary technique work? That demon is indeed afraid I'll discover this. He even hid this manual right here. Now, as long as I train day and night, surpassing the demon is just around the corner. What can be done? After all, he is the king of pressure. At this moment, Xiao Ruoqing is dressed in women's clothing, using the air freshener in her hand to purify the poison gas bomb from Elder Lu. She suddenly discovers a book at the foot of the bed. It turns out to be a secret manual not passed down by the sect. They directly made the two of them spit blood. Don't underestimate me as the 5th elder of the sword sect. There are countless little fans in northern Jiangsu, but their skills are somewhat lacking. Fortunately, their status in the junior sisters' hearts is incredibly high. Among everyone present, only I have the strength to take responsibility for our sword sect's matchmaking event. This is just a good opportunity to expand the power of my sword edge. At that time, I will be the only one qualified for the next sect leader. But who would have thought the Grand Elder would say, just go. Little sister, you don't have to worry about it. None of these 3 things apply to him. No eloquence, no strength, and no time. Meanwhile, Shi Qingyi began to float. Then I won't evade it, junior sister. The person in charge of the Star Recruitment Conference must be very powerful, and you need to have plenty of time. Finally, you must be eloquent. Otherwise, all the good talents will be snatched by other sects. Subei has gone from feeling conflicted to looking lifeless. Let's talk about the matters of this recruitment conference. Subei was startled. The recruitment conference held once every 50 years. It really is just as I thought. Could it be that the system has the ability to foresee the future? The Grand Elder has also let go. Subei smoothed things over. But our sword sect elders are very harmonious, unlike other sects that are filled with schemes and intrigue. Alright, let's get back to the point. But you haven't finished talking yet. You were cut off by the second elder's foot. You're quite proud, aren't you? We are a 985 sect. Where do you see a 985 sect elder with such poor cultivation? You're actually a drunkard. Aren't you ashamed? Old Six, hearing this, became even more excited. Fifth brother, you really need to work harder. Look at me. I'm already at the early stage of void return. The dignified Grand Elder of the Sword Sect is actually rubbing against the Fifth Elder's face, and the dignified Fifth Elder spends all his days infatuated with the female disciples. To this day, your cultivation is only at the mid-stage of nascent soul. And you, Old Six, as the Sixth Elder of the Sword Sect, oomph, old feudal. I was the one who changed little Bebe's diapers when he was young. I've seen everything on his body. Shi-Chingy couldn't take it anymore. Just look at what you all look like. I just want to say, save me, save me, save me. This is so unfair. Elder Shi-Chingy said at this moment. Please, Elder Zhu, have some influence. Their attributes are still all level 1. And at this moment, little Bebe, you're finally back. I missed you so much. Facing the sudden heavy blow, you will receive rewards yourself. I thought I was about to reach the peak of my life and become a boss in the cultivation world. But in reality, this deceptive system is a total scam. After finally receiving a few disciples, even my senior sister has admired me for a long time. However, it all started last month. I ended up transmigrating because my bladder burst and gained the disciple recruitment 10,000-fold feedback system. According to the system prompts, recruit disciples. Hee, you're finally back. I heard from the disciples that you brought back a very beautiful woman this time, right? The approaching Great Elder hugged Subei tightly around the neck. Unexpectedly, an accidental transmigration turned me into a handsome man in the world of cultivators. Shallow people only see my handsomeness. Clearly, my strength is also super cool. Soon, he arrived at the main peak. Just as Subei was about to pick his nose, a sense of crisis suddenly surged in his heart. The master will be back after the meeting. By the way, it seems the table leg is propped up with the basic chi training method. You remember to watch. Be careful not to touch the bottle released on the table. After saying that, Subei leisurely headed towards the main peak. At that moment, a female disciple hurriedly delivered a message. She said the Grand Elder summoned him for a meeting. Subei turned to Xiaoruoqin and said, "Be good. Torjan will accompany the master with the sword. You won't see the wind again. Truly graceful and elegant, handsome and dashing, extraordinary bearing, cultured and refined, a person of remarkable talent." A female scream, like lightning splitting the sky, echoed. Fifth Elder of the Han clan. Subei is indeed right. Among the 9 elders of Jiandong, only the 5th elder is this young. Compared to other transmigration novels, the weak male protagonists at the start are simply no match. But after entering society, he realized that, aside from being handsome, he had no other skills. And just as Subei stepped into the sect, that's why the system offers benefits. After the host collects disciples as prompted by the system, they can draw rewards. The rewards double when the disciples level up. Moreover, the host has transmigrated into the identity of a sword sect martial elder. Not only is he incredibly powerful, but also peerlessly handsome. But isn't this just nonsense for modern people? Immediately giving the system a crit because it thinks we haven't studied. Honest people, right? Who has ever time traveled because of this? Maybe it's due to the male lead's intimidation. This is definitely the most unfortunate the male lead has ever been. He was supposed to take a test but was too busy reading a novel in bed. He decided to read 30 more chapters before going. But unexpectedly, due to an overly full bladder, he experienced a malfunction in regulation, leading to this unexpected journey. Hearing this, Subei was very pleased. At last, he had taken on a good disciple. But little did he know that this woman is his greatest enemy in this lifetime. It is none other than Subei herself. In any case, the most important thing is for you to stay alive for me and cultivate well. Only then did Xiaoruoqing say, "Disciple understands. Thank you, master, for saving my life. In the future, I will certainly train diligently. Don't think about taking shortcuts." At that moment, a burst of silly laughter suddenly rang out. Finally, I, Huhan-san, have obtained the 18 dragon subduing poems. Master, what is the 18 dragon subduing poems? Embarrassed once again, Subei hurriedly changed the topic. So she said, "Since you have entered the immortal gate, then master has some matters to discuss. Remember, there aren't that many heroes in this world that you can encounter." But Xiaoruoqing pointed to the woman who had just been rescued in the distance. After being slapped in the face, Subei said again that cultivation requires a down-to-earth approach. Then, happily, he took Xiaoruoqing back to the sect and promised her that in the future, he would become her master. He would personally accompany her to take revenge for today. Xiaoruoqing naturally agreed happily. On the way, she wanted to show off in front of her disciple. This might be because the system heard Subei's dissatisfaction. Next, it continuously issued rewards. Congratulations to the host for receiving the legendary title of Child of Destiny. Congratulations, host. Your luck has reached its limit. The ugly faces are about to float up to the sky. An ordinary hemostatic powder. An ordinary poison that can kill you if consumed. At this moment, Subei glared at Xiao Ruoqin with resentment. The child of destiny. Just give it to me. Congratulations, host, for successfully taking on a disciple. You have received a 10x summon of the all-rounder. This is the kind of setup a protagonist should have. Just as I was about to draw, I got slapped in the face the next second. Congratulations, host. You have received a regular Peiyuan Dan. Greets the master. Subei nodded with satisfaction. Although it's not what I expected, it's still quite respectful of teachers and traditions. At this moment, the system sent a notification. With such extraordinary talent, a disciple appearing can't be easily let go. Who would have thought he'd agree so readily at this moment? Master above. Your disciple, Xiao Ruoqing. Momentarily at a loss, Subei saw that she had yet to respond, and continued, if you're unwilling, then our fate ends here. Tried a little reverse psychology. I am Elder Subei from the Jianzong sect. Are you willing to take me as your master and join the immortal sect, pursuing the path of cultivation? Xiao Ruoqing looked at the handsome man before her, muttering something about not following the rules of combat. Then he collapsed like that, dying from his injuries. Young lady, I see that your parents have passed away and your home has been lost. With no other choice, she tightly shuts her eyes, ready to accept this tragic fate. However, just at that moment, the bully suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. The woman fell to the ground in pain. Her heart feels numb. Overnight, she lost all her family. Now, even she is about to be bullied by a tyrant.